Afternoon and welcome to the Senate's Fiscal Affairs Committee meeting or committee budget hearing here in the beautiful island of Rota. Today is August 21st, 2025, approximately 1:41 p.m. here at the Mayor's Office Conference Hall. At this time, I wish to ask the clerk to please call the roll to effectuate a quorum.
Senator Ronnie M. Cavo,
Present.
Senator Manny Gregory T. Castro,
Stiga.
Senator Francisco Q. Cruz,
Yeah.
Senator Jude Yohoff Schneider,
Yegi.
Senator Karina L. Magofnia, Senator Donald M. Mangonia,
Present.
Senator Paul A. Mangonia. Mr. Chairman, 5 members are present, 2 members are absent.
With 5 members present, we have the requisite number to proceed with this budget hearing. And the 3 members are hereby excused from today's meeting. But before I call for adoption of agenda, I would like to formally just welcome the Honorable Aubrey Hokuk to this important meeting. Thank you for allowing us, the Senate Fiscal Affairs, to conduct this budget hearing, as well as to your respective RDHs and your key Mayor's Office staff. And I also see Chairman Lizama here. Thank you for joining us, sir. I also wish to recognize the presence of Secretary of Finance, Tracy Norita, and Special Assistant to Management and Budget, Ms. Vicky, and her, the Secretary of Finance, staff, Mr. Palacios, Ms. Enriquez. I'm sorry, I see one gentle lady there. Forgive me, I haven't formally met you, but welcome to this budget hearing nevertheless. Ms. Hernandez? Yes, I did, yeah. And I think the gentle lady to the right, so Ms. Julie Long. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I also wish to go ahead and recognize the LB staff that's assisting the committee today. I'm going to start from my left, the far left, Sergeant at Arms Benjamin Terlahi, and to his right is Mr. Delbert Kamotsu. He's responsible with the coverage of this on social media and recording. And to the gentleman in the far corner to my right is Mr. Devin Macaranas, the legislative assistant, and to his right is Ms. Jolene Dueñas Taguel. She's also the legislative assistant, assisting committee. And the gentleman over with the blue shirt is the legal counsel for the Senate, and he's assigned to the Fiscal Affairs. I think I covered everyone, no? All right, so with that, I would like to now entertain a motion. Any member should offer a motion to adopt today's meeting agenda.
So moved.
It's been offered by Floor Leader Manglonia. Do I hear a second? It's been seconded by the Legislative Secretary Cruz. Under discussion. And under discussion, the chair wishes to just to be consistent. And I spoke to our good mayor that although the bullet point indicates itemized secretaries, I mean the agencies in line, but if it's okay that we can, you know, be flexible in that regards. And thank you for allowing us that, Madam Mayor. Okay, so all those in favor of the motion to adopt today's meeting agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Today's meeting or budget hearing agenda is hereby adopted. And then item number 4, public comment. And this is the portion of the meeting that we allow members of the general public to offer comments or testimonials on the items that we have before us today. And kindly state your name for the record if you do so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chairman of Schneider and members of this committee. My name is Rodney Taiskan. I'm here to comment on Senate Bill number 24-1, This is regarding the retirement. I know this will probably help reduce of our budget. So I'm here to support that Senate bill for the retirement,
Okay.
and I hopefully that we have to proceed and make it a law so we can retire, and that way we can save the government too. I'm ready to retire, so I hope that you guys are ready.
Thank you.
And not only that, I don't know if they do a public hearing on this, but I will recommend that, to educate our government employees what are the benefits and everything, because it's very, I don't know what agency it's going to go to. Is it going to the retirement fund or whatever?
Okay.
So the other comment that I would like to comment on the tobacco fund that we it's public law 13-37. I know we're having so much issues regarding referral, and I would like to recommend that on that public law, I believe 40% goes to CHCC in that division. I would recommend that if they can cut the 40% and give the referral at least 15% of that to help the referral, because right now our people, most especially here in Rota, we don't have the funds to go off island, most especially to the States. Those are very expensive, and I don't know who's making all those decisions, even if it's the board, what do you call this, referral. They don't understand that, Rota is more expensive than Saipan or Tinian. So please look at that law and amend so you can help us patients here. And the tobacco, I mean, we have so much cancer patients, and those the hardest part. Referral is waiting for them to approve. If it's cancer, I mean, the government don't have the facility to perform that in Saipan or even in Rota or in Tinian. So if the government can help us, amend that law, and probably that 15% can help the referral to help the patient. It's very hard. I mean, you guys should see that patients are going out doing medical fundraising. It's hard enough for the family, most especially going off island. So please, take a look at that law and amend it. If you're talking about cancer, those are cancer patients, but not just only cancer too. So that one can be, I don't know if they're doing education because I haven't seen anything. So if that 40%, I know that 10% goes to the Municipality of Rota, Tinian, then the other percentage goes to other department. So I'm asking you guys, please take a look at that law and amend it and help our patients, most especially people from Rota. It's hard. And thank you for giving me this time to comment on that.
Jesus masih Mr. Taiskan duly noted. Ji otruna oktunion me refer na 24 on there's gonna be the appropriate public outreach to do that. So stay tuned. We're gonna make the appropriate announcement to bring it before our people here on Rota. No? Okay.
Okay, thank you, Senator. I appreciate that.
Okay. Jesus masih for your time. Any other member of the general public that wish to offer comments on, especially on the budget matter? If none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public comment portion, and at this time I'm moving on to item 5. I wish to invite the Honorable Aubrey Hokuk from Mayor of Rota to present the Rota Mayor's Office submission to the FY 2026 budget. and you have the floor. Please state your name just to be on record. Thank you.
Half a day. Good afternoon, Honorable Chairman Hofschneider and members of this distinguished body. For the record, my name is Aubrey Hokuk, Mayor for the Municipality of Rota. On behalf of our people, we would like to express a sincerest welcome to you all, expressing our gratitude and appreciation for your presence here as my cabinet and I present our budget requests and answer any questions you may have for not only my office, but all the respective departments here on our beautiful island of Luta. My office has been extremely focused on getting our projects in order that include the approved grant award from the Office of Insular Affairs, the Northern Marianas Housing Corporation, CDBG, our capital improvement projects, and other local projects funded by our Rota Legislative Delegation. If you were to drive around Luta, you would be able to see the construction of new facilities and the renovation of current facilities. Many of our Rota projects that were approved and awarded funds by FEMA under the Public Assistance Office are still awaiting our extension request. This is under Typhoon Mangkut, and as I'm sure you're all aware, that FEMA gave a blanket for Typhoon Yutu, and so we are hopefully going to hear from them soon so we can see these projects materialize. And so this has kept us busy and focused to help build a better Rota. I kindly ask for consideration with our budget proposal to seek and maintain the number of personnel currently employed under my office. My office was allocated 118 FTEs. I presently have 108 currently employed employees, with 6 FTEs being routed. Due to the nature of our personnel, where we have hired skilled labor workers, we have had to shift the salaries to employ people with the needed skills, knowledge, and experience to cut costs and save money. So rather than having our projects undergo the bidding process, we have hired personnel that can provide the needed manpower and labor to execute desired plans to upgrade our facilities on Luta. Our former governor's proposed budget submission listed 118, but with 4 FTEs currently unfunded. We are estimating the need or the shortage, or we ask for your support to cover the shortage of about 68,209 with fringe benefits. I humbly ask for the support of this body to provide that funding source for our next fiscal year's budget. Shifting into our operations, we have been working with the budget that has been given under our general funds for operations, and as well as the funds that were given to support our utility usage. Many of our accounts already have been shifted to prepaid, and we are very thankful for the support of the former governor, Defunto Arno Palacios, our current governor, Apateng, for providing funds to finance the cost of utilities for the municipality. With the support of our Secretary of Finance, Tracy Narita, we will be able to clear the municipal debt, and this will include the medical housing facilities on Saipan. Mayor Don and I have come up, we have met with our governor and secretary, with Ms. Vicky at OMB, to come up with a solution to address all future utility needs for medical housing with the support of the current administration and the CHCC director, Ms. Esther Munya. We have been working with OGM to submit for our office building, this office here that currently houses us, to seek grant funding to have solar energy power this building. This office serves as a community space for outreach and training, as well as budget hearings, and serves as a command center during disasters and houses other departments and agencies. This would be a major step forward to cut major costs to the municipality. With that said, I humbly ask for the support of this body to allow flexibility and suspend all restrictions regarding all our revolving accounts, and allow the respective expenditure authorities the ability to utilize the funds for operational expenses. The support of our legislatures with this amendment has empowered our office to be able to provide services and create programs for our youth and our general public. By allowing each respective expenditure access and flexibility to use our revolving funds, we will be able to address our needs for fuel, communication, office supply, etc. We humbly ask to continue with this support until we are able to find other sources of funding that can replace this stream of income. I have also submitted a request to Mrs. Elizabeth Balahaja to utilize our CIP funds to provide support for our DPS and DFEMS personnel, to allow them to keep them afloat and to address some major operational shortages and issues within their respective departments. I have inquired about expanding this source to cover other law enforcement agencies such as our Customs and our Fish and Wildlife Division, but I believe there needs to be some amendment to our language in our laws that will identify these agencies as part of law enforcement to be eligible for those funding. So with that, I'm happy to share that this will allow at least DPS and DFEMS the ability to address some infrastructure, fuel, supplies, and equipment needs. I also want to thank the support of our central government under the leadership of the former governor, Arno Palacios, our present governor, David Apateng, our lieutenant governor, Dennis Mendiola, and our CNMI legislatures who have been instrumental in providing assistance with our various requests throughout the year. I would like to thank the Rota leadership, our Rota legislative delegation members, our municipal council, all my colleagues, the mayors of each respective islands, my resident department heads, their employees, and their hardworking staff for their endless support and guidance. It has been a difficult challenge, but we have relied on one another for support. And with that, I know my resident department heads will be presenting their respective budgets. I ask for your continued support to provide any assistance possible. Their success is contingent on the resources that they are provided to be able to complete their mission to provide the best service to our people. Please do know that our departments make do with what they have, but it is very limited. We want to do more, but we cannot do it without the help of this body. And we hope that you take the time to consider all requests, and I am ready to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Jesus Masia, Mayor Hokuk, my apologies, dismissal for my oversight, but I do recognize also our esteemed council member, the result of today, dismissal. I didn't notice na kayo. Anyway, I also just noticed our hard-working mayor from 3rd Senatorial District just walked in, Mayor RB Komatsu and his key staff. Welcome to Luta Laino, Mayor Komatsu. So with that, thank you, Mayor, once again for that presentation. Just to kind of stay on point. As you know, the House had passed their version, to which they provided. They kind of supported the administration's request of 8.908 8486 for 1st Senatorial District, which include the 118 authorized FTEs. No. I noted that, and I stand corrected, the 4 of those are unfunded.
Yes.
Of the 108, and there are also 108 that are active, correct?
Yes.
Of which 6 of them are being routed to be filled.
Yes, Chairman.
And if I may encourage, and I know that your staff can flag this because it's the butt end of the FY 2025, that we note that figures, so that when we do pass FY 2026, those 4 employees are included in the actuals budget. No,
Thank
so we
you.
don't lose out. So
Thank you.
just want to flag that. At this time, I recognize any of the members to pose a question to Mayor Hokuk, but I think we'll give courtesy to our good chairman, Chairman Normang Loyan, to pose his question first. And by the way, he's also he's working with me. He's a vice chair for the FA committee. So, Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't have much questions, only because the mayor has been very open in communicating her needs to the delegation, and so we wanted to see how we can address that through the budget. But Pardon me, Mayor. I have a question to OMB in regards to, and this just came about, and I don't want to lose my train of thought, but the sick leave donation, has it been working for the past two budget cycles where we had the calculations in it? Because the House's version is on a one-to-one basis as opposed to how we've had it languaged in the past two.
I saw that language, is making it equivalent on a one-to-one basis, but I don't think that, I think the way it was before, how you introduced it on prior budgets, I think they should continue to follow that. Otherwise, it's going to be, it's unequal or unfair, because like one is donating, like if
their pay is
one was
higher
donating
to
at
somebody
a
else.
higher rate and the other one is receiving at a lower rate, then that would be, it should be less number of hours versus, having to request for a donated sick leave, which would be calculated to be at the equivalent level. So I think that language there should be striked out and insert the former language
So
from
it has been
23,
working
26.
well for the past two budget cycle.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, going back to the agencies in regards to, I know you mentioned the funds that are going to be used for like the law enforcement. Have we had any issues in the current fiscal year in trying to get that money?
So I know this is just fairly new. I know we have submitted that to Ms. Liz. And I believe they just need some time to maybe process that. But we have Ms. Vicky and her team, Ms. Julie, have been a great support. We do have some lapses within our respective departments, so they've been able to transfer that. And so we've given that to the departments to have them utilize for their needs.
Okay. Do we owe any employee for any overtime that would be covered by this source of funding?
So the former governor have covered, but because it was identified in the language of the public law in regards to the budget that was passed, that we would not be able to utilize for law enforcement the general fund to cover any overtime that has been incurred. And so this is a great solution to cover what was short. I do know our resident department heads for the respective departments have been very patient, and I know the staff have been very patient to cover, because we are massively short-staffed for DPS and DFEMS. I know that their FTEs or the positions, the vacancies are being routed to have that to be announced, but this would be a solution to that. There's only so much come time that these officers, these firefighters can, incur before it really becomes a detriment to them and their overall mental health.
Okay. Thank you for that response. Also, the budget that was approved for your utilities for the current fiscal year was at 150,000. Are you paying for every department's utility bills? And if so, how much is the monthly expenses for all agencies in which you're covering?
So yes, the answer, we are covering. Sometimes there are leaks, sometimes there is certain months where there is more usage than others, but our team under the procurement, they do ensure that the tokens or that the accounts are being replenished. We did have one incident with DPS where there wasn't enough tokens, but we rectified that as soon as we got word.
Okay, but so the 12,500 monthly allotment for utilities is sufficient to cover?
No, currently no. The biggest consumption is this office and the street lights. But we are still waiting with CUC because we have submitted a letter to, we've identified some discrepancies with the billing. We are still waiting for their response to address that, but that would significantly reduce, for example, the street lights. This office, this building is a major, it consumes so much utility power, And I just spoke with Mr. Epi Cabrera, and this building, or this, we've submitted a project proposal to have this move towards renewable energy to install solar panels. So we're going to pray and hope that that would be selected.
Okay. Speaking of solar panels, since you mentioned it, and this may not be directly related to the budget, but I just wanted to get an update. I know that there was a group that came down that are or were installing panels in these homes. Are they done with that project?
So Senator, there was an energy auditor that came in. So what this auditor did was just inspect the homes. So there were 32 homes that were selected as part of the CARES program, and this would allow for the installation of solar panels. So it's just the assessment that was completed.
Okay. And one last question, so I can give members the opportunity to ask. As you know, I CC'd you on this email, and I requested for an update from DPL Secretary in regards to the bid that was out for the resort, which was closed over a month ago. Unfortunately, I mean, he did respond earlier this week, but only gave an update that it's still being reviewed. And so I asked the chairman to schedule a budget hearing with DPL to get more information. But even so, with the budget that we're going to approve for DPL, it is my hope to appropriate a certain amount specifically for Rota for the maintenance of the resort. If we are able to allocate a certain amount for the maintenance of the resort, do you have the capacity to assist in that sense?
Yes, Senator. In fact, we did have a discussion with the Secretary about providing the needed equipment, needed fuel, because we do have the manpower, and that we could, day by day, address that. Of course, the hardest part is in the beginning, but once we put our resources together, because it would not just be my office, we would seek the support of DLNR. And so our team has met. We have discussed that we can provide assistance. So once that MOU is in place, there is going to be some initial funding to at least get started until we can get more financial assistance.
Has this discussion been is this ongoing, or is
Yes.
this okay?
It's
but we
already-
haven't received any support yet
No.
from
So
DPL?
what the Secretary asked, Dispensa, I'm sorry to cut you, Senator, but what he asked was a proposal from our end in terms of what supplies and the amount of fuel or diesel that we needed. We did provide that list to the Secretary. I know that was supposed to be converted into an MOU. The last I understood that the AG was looking at that, and if everything is a go, then we would continue or pursue that MOU agreement.
What's a ballpark figure as to what you would need for the maintenance for the whole fiscal year?
So diesel wise, I think we asked 5,000 each, 5,000 gas, and then we also asked for diesel to help operate the heavy equipment. For one heavy equipment for DPW, and this is where, I know our community can be very frustrated, but it does require like one drum, right, to operate on a day and a half basis. And so for them to utilize that equipment, because many of the trees and the shrubs have overgrown, so it would require the need of those heavy equipment. But a ballpark figure in terms of diesel or gas would be like around 10 grand. But we
whole
did,
year?
No, just for that, just to clear, right? And that's just initial. We don't know if we do need more, but that at least is something for us to begin. And so that would provide support to the vehicles and the heavy equipment that would be needed.
Okay. If you have an updated figure to include, and I hope you can maybe work with DPS in regards to the monitoring and the security of the property. I know that if you look at Saipan, Camp Pacific, I believe they've hired, or they're using their employees to safeguard the property, and like their lawn is manicured and all of that, and so we want to ensure that the asset that we have here is also maintained and protected. And so if you can also include the cost, it would what the cost would be to the municipality to utilize some of our law enforcement personnel to drive by and look out at for the the property, and inclusive of the maintenance for the entire year, if you're able to get that. And so we can try to, hopefully with the consent of the committee, include language that would specify that it would be used to address that area at least.
So Senator, I do know that there was a recruitment, or there were conversation and announcements, notices of G4S vendor that was looking to recruit to possibly, I'm not sure if that's a conversation between that company and DPL, but I have heard of that company trying to recruit locals for employment to provide that needed support. But I know DPS, they're currently short-staffed, but our RD and the great command, that team that she has, I know that they can make do to provide support however they can.
Okay. Sorry, just one last one. We've got clarification on the HOT. I know that this is a discussion that we're going to have with MVA, but in terms of your community events, how have they supported your office financially?
So they do here and there give, so for this upcoming fiscal year, I do know that they've allotted, I believe, about 20,000, but that's over the span of all our projects. And so that's been divvied up between our marathon to the Gilita Festival, our coconut sweet potato, our Bisita Luta, and our Christmas programs. So they've divvied up funds that way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I yield for now, Chairman.
Jesus Masi, Chairman Manglonia, and Jesus Masi, Mayor Makuk. Any other member wish to post a question in regards to the mayor's presentation of her recognized Senator Manny Castro?
I just want to commend you, Mayor, for doing all the things that you're doing. Given the amount that was just mentioned, 20,000 is not a lot to have a budget dedicated to tourism-related events. So keep doing the great work, and we hope to assist you in your requests. Thank you.
Thank you. If I just may add, the credit really belongs to my hardworking team, my cabinet members and their hardworking team. No one project can be successful without the collaboration. So I really would like to give credit to them, and to my, of course, Rota Legislative Delegation, who have been very supportive with our ask.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Senator Calvo, recognize.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Honorable Mayor and Chief Dean, for the wonderful budget presentation. Pretty much you declared a lot of the requests and challenges that we do have on our beautiful island of Rota. The one thing that stood out for me, because we have our state level Department of Finance and the other constituting members, is the flexibility. Allowing the flexibility for the funding. And I know with the mayorship organization and the municipalities outside, given and granted that it'll help, our cabinet members, greatly, tremendously. So we're looking to support that. Chairman Jude also mentioned the 4 FTEs out of the 118 declared, and that clarification, ensuring that, we sustain the FTEs that we have currently and the other, sources in place. Another footnote I was mentioning is I want to commend to our, the public information on our community on the crossover, the collaboration, and everybody putting in great effort to ensure that our community is, presentable for visitors and, those that are coming back from abroad, the U.S., and to ensure that Rota gets the equity portion of it. It's a process, and I understand that. Senator Donald also mentioned a lot of the key factors, and a lot of it with the investment portion of it is the hotel. Let's get that up and running, and I know there's a lot of talks. We got a lot of support in different directions, so I'm looking forward to all that. Without further ado, like Manny said, 20K, we're hoping MVA can push, because I know in our department, I see your drop lines and everything as far as advertising our community and our people of Rota. So it's great that we're doing our end, and we see how the financial situations will allow for all the different diverse movements that we need to push Rota forward for our people. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, if I just may add,
Please.
right? Thank you, and it really has been of great support to be given the flexibility with the revolving accounts, and I just humbly ask for just maybe a little bit more clarity in regards to the verbiage or the language regarding that. You know, I was just told a few days ago in regards to one of our departments, they do have a revolving account. This is Department of Commerce. And the secretaries have rejected some of the invoices uploaded. And I think maybe because they are still under the assumption that it is only correlating to those respective enforcement responsibilities. But I humbly ask, you know, for that. And, you know, we're doing what we can on our end to rectify that. It's not that we're trying to finish all the money, but at least be responsible to take some of that and utilize it for the current operational needs.
Jesus Masi and Madam Secretary, you know, you're here, so can you just shed some light with regards to that concern, and maybe some guidance? And I must say that the Secretary and her team are been very resourceful in terms of, at least the last, you know, few days, and especially on Tinian when they were providing some, you know, almost real-time numbers to some of the entities, to your point. So, Madam Secretary, you want to respond to that?
I believe, you know, in terms of providing support, and that's why we're here, and that's why we try to bring our team every time we have a hearing on each of the municipal islands. So I would encourage stronger communication too, so that we can plan in advance for when we are here on island. We bring our IT, our systems analysts, and our financial analysts, so that we can do a full comprehensive solution when we're here on island. So Mayor, you're welcome to send me directly any issues that you see coming from your resident department heads, so that we do try to do it quarterly, if not more often, especially when we have hearings. So I think that would be helpful as well.
Thank you. Again, her team has been amazing. I only bring this up because for that department specifically, you know, there was just some issues in terms of what we could see in Munis, but I do know your IT, Mr. Donald, is here to provide that assistance, but I just wanted to just bring that up just to avoid any future, I guess, conflict, yes, just to make sure that because nobody wants to, we want to all abide by what is identified in the law, but just to provide clarity.
Yeah, Malik, that's good, Madam Mayor and Secretary. So, you know, it's always been the narrative since, you know, in the outset of the administration, and I think it's even previous years, not just the Pelosius and Apatang and now the Apatang Mendiola, but to exhaust all the revolving funds. But, you know, with the financial data system that you are deploying, transferring from JDE to Munis, I'm certain that, you know, you have able staff to get to the other side. So if I may ask, do we have like a standard operating procedure as far as visiting our respective islands? What would be the best case scenario? Do you want to come down here? Maybe, you know, Mayor Aubrey would be appreciative if you say, okay, I'll be here like every quarter or something, or when, because I stand corrected, but just based on what Mayor Audon was saying earlier, a lot of our vendors, they want to get paid before delivery. No more of that PO, and then they want, you know, the actual dinero, you know, the cash or check before they render. So I can relate to Mayor Hokug's concern. So can we just get maybe some guidance as to what would be the most appropriate line of SOP? And I see Katrina Lin just looking straight at me, and she's really attentive.
Thank you, Chairman. That's a multi-question right there. So one, of course, is we start off with fund certification. We have to know that the funds are available and authorized first before we can move to the next step of assisting in procurement methods. And so I know that both municipalities are struggling with that. And so my staff here, the financial analysts, they are focused on fund certification, and that's their area of expertise. And then secondly, you mentioned procurement, just the procurement issues that we have, which you can't move forward with procurement without authorized funding. So we have to fix that first issue before we can move on. And I know that we've made progress with our staff in terms of providing the training and methods available to all municipalities in terms of expediting payment while being in compliance with procurement. And so I'm glad that we're making progress there and that the staff have been trained so that you have those funds readily available for any emergencies that you may need, and they are still tied to the budget availability. So
Okay.
I believe we're making progress. It's
Thank
just there's different situations, different issues, but for the most part, I think for emergency situations, we've activated most municipalities' ability.
Sorry, just to
Mayor?
clarify,
No,
when
that's
I
fine.
meant Secretary, not this Secretary of
Commerce.
Finance, I meant Secretary of Commerce,
Yeah.
not our Secretary of Finance.
Well,
Yeah,
we have
thank
her,
you.
so.
Thank you. I just wanna-
And
your team has been a big
just
help.
to sorry to
Yeah.
dispense, Mayor Lo, they're going to be here for a couple more hours.
Yes.
So for all the entities that have questions with SOF or Secretary of Finance office, it's a chance. And you have the planning and budget OMB also. So yeah, but I guess you're the secretary of the secretary, no? Secretary of Finance. So yeah, go ahead, Ms. B.
I just wanted to make comment and a note on House Bill 2446 that they continued the provision where the overtime should be paid from non-federal sources. So
Outside
maybe
source.
that's something that can be either addressed or removed so that the law enforcement operations funding that's available through the OIA can be used for other operational needs of the municipality.
So ma'am, you're referring to the budget law, no?
Yes, 2446 is the House bill for
Oh.
the 2026 appropriations.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. We'll track that. Thank you so much. Any other questions or comments? Oh, I'm sorry. Spaces. I want to recognize Senator Frank Cruz.
Thank you, Chairman. And thank you, Mayor Aubrey, for having us here. I just want to, because I noticed on the governor's submission, the proposed budget, including the municipal, I mean not the municipality, but I noticed that on operation everything is zero, and they gave the municipality 181,000 for other expenses. Is this the zero operation for department? It has to be the mayor to be the one furnishing each department with whatever they need on the operation? And is that an effective way of having the mayor be responsible for everybody? You know? Because right now there's complaints with Munis process, no? That like what was mentioned earlier, that sometimes the delay of processing, no? If we give the mayor, because the mayor is requesting, I understand the necessity and the hardship here in Rota is more expensive than our island, and Saipan. And everything is expensive here, and we want to make sure that the delivery of public services is effective, no? And giving the mayor 181, which is requesting, I know that we have limited resources, but requesting 600 plus for operation, 181 for her to be subsidizing the department, more especially those critical and essential departments like DPS and DPS and other critical agencies. I just want to know, is this how we do how public services?
No, it's not, but I believe it's working for the mayor the way it is. Everything is centralized. Anyways, the expenditure authorities is the mayor, and everything goes through the mayor for whatever the needs of the respective departments. But the priority was to try to ensure that all the municipalities' workforce is at 80 hours and rather than, cut in hours. So that was the priority on this budget, is to try to ensure that everybody's paid at the full 80 and then allocate some funding for the mayor to pay for the utilities. So that 181,000 is really for the utilities plus the 1% on the public auditor's fee.
Yeah, I understand, unless the municipality, the mayor agree to that. I don't know whether mayor, you agree to that, to be the one responsible for everything, because I know that different departments have different issues with the delivering of public service, and giving the burden on the municipality mayor to be responsible for everything, especially the limited funding for operation that is given to her, that's not what she's asking. So I was just thinking that every single department should be responsible, to give an immediate public service when it comes to their department, so that will not be, burdening the mayor of all those kind of responsibility. Otherwise, if that the case, and we don't want the people of Rota to blame the mayor on every single thing that's happening on every department. I'm just saying whether this is the appropriate way to deliver the public services, by giving the burden to the mayor to be the one giving or subsidizing department with what they need.
Mr. Chairman, if I may just respond. So I believe that the departments should be empowered. Like you mentioned, they have their own specific needs. And the only time, and I can say this from experience, is when we went through austerity and all the operations were given to the municipality. And of course, we were given a budget of $10,000 a month, and the priority, and we were covering the whole municipality, and the priority was the utilities, the fuel, and the communications. Anything outside of that really had to wait on a monthly basis. But I strongly believe that the department should be given their respective operations. I trust that my cabinet know how to support their own respective departments. I believe what you also could be referring to is our lapses. We do have some lapses. I did, based on the power, the reprogramming authority given to me by the budget, I was given up to 10%. I gave all those funds to those respective departments that had lapses. So the RDs, I know that they were in communication with their own respective department staff to identify what was their priorities, and I know that they have been uploading and procuring items, fuel, etc. But I believe and I support where the departments are given their own operations.
Thank you, Mayor. That's why I raised this, because I understand that whenever we pass budget, anything that is given to the department that for example, they're short on their operation, anything that they need, they have to come to you. But in this regards, everything is zero and it goes to you, the 181. I don't know whether that 181 will be enough for the mayor's office and the other respective department. I'm just saying whether this is acceptable by you, and is it effective to deliver the services to the people of Rota. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Recognize the Chairman Dono.
Thank you, Chairman. Just going back to your comment, Mayor, in regards to invoices being rejected by the Secretary. I think this is where the question is asked of who notifies the heads of, or the expenditure authority of provisions in the budget, such as the revolving account exemption. Because like what I brought up in Tinian, for example, Commerce, they have a corporate tax fee account of, I think the last time we checked with Dave, it was over 2 million. And so because there wasn't any sub-accounts attached to that main, the CNMI account, the department heads would have to submit the request to Commerce Secretary. And so if I'm understanding, she's rejecting it because it's not tied to the activity that is associated with that account. Are all cabinet members aware of that exemption in the budget?
So for the revolving accounts, it depends on what, it all depends on what the statute dictates, but I believe that the mayor of the municipality is the expenditure authority, and each resident department would have to go through the mayor for her approval.
No, but this would be for the central government revolving accounts, like Commerce has a, you know, like solid waste, something like that. But for Commerce, it's a corporate
Yes.
tax.
I would say, at least with my experience with the department heads, they're aware of the budget provisions that allow them to use it for operations. They're doing it already. So maybe it was just that one instance, Mayor. I'm not sure. I can't speak because I wasn't aware of that. But I'm sure they could use some reminding if that happens again.
Yeah. And if it becomes an issue, Mayor, the legislature can also provide that guidance. But it was a concern that was brought up, and it was something that needs clarity on in terms of the sub-accounts, and even allowing the sub-accounts to be controlled by the municipality, the expenditure authority of the departments of that municipality. But I think I understand that we have Mr. Palacios and Ms. Hernandez here that have been very helpful in providing certification of funds or on certified account balances. And so just an advice for or just a suggestion to the RDs prior to coming up, if you need an updated balance, they're here available to assist you with that, so that when it comes time for your hearing, you have all the available information in front of you. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, I will yield, and thank you, Mayor and Chief, for your time here.
Okay, thank you, Chairman Donald. Second round, the mayor, before we ask her to, she's a busy person too, so. Madam Mayor, si susmasi talo ni sa mo presentation, we certainly appreciate it. It is the process of which we're going to, be conducting, some more hearings on Saipan. Also, I encourage you to, even though we're done with the hearing with your office, look at the provisions of the current budget and flag any concerns or support that we're able to advance your initiative or would not advance your initiative because there's concerns, no? So continua matan. So I'm open to okay. So I'm gonna allow if okay by the members, we're gonna call in the Chairman Donovan, right?
Jonovan.
Jonovan Lizama and the other members of the council and executive director to present the municipal council's budget.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs.
And
Masita.
I know my chief, Dean Manglonia, and my budget officer, Josh Cavo, will definitely look into that and definitely relay any relevant information. So thank you for that.
Está.
Thank you.
Si susmasi. Thank you, Mr. Manglonia.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Ms. Vicky, will Julie be heading out also today?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, just before they leave, can I ask Ms. Vicky, since the lifting of austerity, are the DPW employees entitled to their hazardous pay from the time the austerity was lifted?
If funding is available, and so the hazardous pay, there's a different process of, how to make a claim on the hazardous pay. So it's every 90 days, there has to be like a request for personal action, and it goes through OPM, and it's specifically for the hazardous work that they did during that period.
Okay.
So it's every 90 days, it has to be a repeated process.
But are they still entitled to that in the event there are some funds that are made available? So do we keep track of what is owed to them until such time the funds become available?
It would be the respective department that's processing the actions for these folks that are doing that, working on or doing any hazardous work.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Manglonia. And that's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked that because I was gonna pose that question as well. But I do know that it's in their notice of in their work, right? I mean, they're qualified, right? Like especially DPW. But there's that process. That what you said.
There is that process under the personal systems rules and regs for hazardous pay. They have to go through that process. It's almost similar to like working a typhoon,
Sure.
you know, an incident at a typhoon, a storm, the process of processing an action to, you know, to name the folks that are in operation during the event.
Okay. So just to make, for consistency purposes, we encourage the agencies, like in this case DPW Solid Waste, to continue with record keeping and all that, so that it can definitely assist if that situation comes around.
That is very much encouraged, so like
Okay.
document.
All right. Sounds good. Very good. Thank you. So at this time, I wish to call Municipal Council, Rota, the Chair and members, and your key staff.
Good afternoon.
Go ahead. Proceed. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, again, and our Senate body, everyone else here. Welcome to Rota, our guests. Mayor Arby, welcome. Before me, my name is Jonathan H. Lizama. I am the chairman for the Rota 20th Rota Municipal Council. And I have here the vice chairwoman, Ms. Sandra Masca, and also the secretary of RMC, Ms. Stili Taimanyao. And again, I understand we are actually a small agency, so we have our own duties. Again, what we do for our community, we just try and tackle as much as we can our services due to the lack of businesses out here. The services that is being rendered, like elsewhere, in just our general public. And there's a lot of stuff that are missing here in Rota, and we try to again assist our community in every way we can. We've been working really close with the Mayor Aubrey Hokuk and her staff, her office, and also the Rota delegation in supporting us in also rendering the service. We have like 8 staffs, and our budget, I guess, I see that we've been cut with our funds, but I understand what the cinema is going through. But we are, grateful for what we have, but we would always, request for, a little more just to continue and also, yes, to render service. Municipal Council has been working a lot with our youth programs, with a lot with the school, and also with PSS and DYS. So that's more of our in the sporting events and also other after-school programs. And also, council members look like they're ready for any questions that you guys have for us. And the floor is open for you. Thank you.
Cesar Masi, Chairman Lizama. Would any of the other members wish to offer
Yes,
comments
I would.
or?
Vice?
As Chairman has stated my name, but I'll go ahead and repeat. I am Vice Chairwoman Sandra Mosca. So I know we submitted our budget for 200-some thousand, and the governor's proposal has cut us down. We know that our office is small, and we are elected official, and our office provides services to our community. So we plead and ask for your help in restoring back what they took from the governor's budget, and we ask more, and if you can give more, then we're very much happy. And I see the chairman smiling, so maybe we might get more. Thank you.
Cesar Masi, Madam Vice Chair. Recognize the Secretary, Madam Secretary.
Good afternoon, members of this esteemed body. I am the secretary for the 20th Rota Municipal Council. For the record, my name is Tilly Tamino. Welcome to Rota, and we are open to any questions you may have of us, and we will try our best to answer it
Okay.
appropriately. Thank you.
Jesus Masi, honorable members of the Rota Municipal Council. I'm gonna go ahead and start just to try and map out the conversation this afternoon. So currently you have 8 FTEs, and they're all filled. There's no like floating NOPA, notice of person action, or
Yes.
Toruduman ma
Yes.
feel, no?
Everything's taken. Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically, your offices, you need. I mean, is there any rental office budget
No,
that you're
no,
incurring?
we're actually staying in the we're office in the
Government building.
government compound.
So your utilities you take care of, or
Yes, we do. We take care of our own.
are you? Is the office doing what we call nowadays night hawk prepaid, or is it the regular?
No, regular. We're under the municipality. We are actually because that one compound is
Okay.
different.
Oh, different section. Okay. So so you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, that you work in collaboration, and it's always good to hear, no, coming from this side also, that the local leaders are working in concert to deliver their best to our general public, and I appreciate that conversation. I mean, I mentioned earlier. So, and you also alluded to that there are some. The administration's proposal trimmed down what you submitted. So is there any concern with regards to which area there that you wish us to consider as far as your proposal versus what is being annotated here?
Yes, our operations. That's where we are kind of really tight on. So our operations, we have to split. You know,
Okay.
the allotment. So we probably get like what?
So we get $274 each every month.
Yeah. So you know that's where we.
So you try to stretch that, no?
Yeah. So we seek a lot of help from our Rota delegations and also our mayor of Rota.
Okay.
So we've been getting a lot of help from them, and thank you for that. But you know we would
Okay.
like to also take care of
Right.
our duties, and responsibilities to. Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what.
Thank you, Chairman. That's duly noted. I'm going to yield, and I'm going to allow the other members, but I would like to first recognize the chairman of the Rota Legislative Delegation to pose his comments or question if he so desires. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. I don't really have much to question the council on. The delegation has been able to assist whenever there are funds available. I do see that the council operated on 11,000 or is operating on 11,000 for the entire year. Well, that's inclusive of OP8. And so the committee will consider your requests at this time. However, the delegation is always ready to help you for any projects that you guys have.
Thank you.
I would like to yield to my other Rota colleague in the committee. Thank you.
Go ahead, Senator Cabo. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, Fiscal Fair Chair, and thank you, RLD Chair. Yes, man, I'm feeling you guys are municipal council because prior to this position as an educator, I've seen you represent the people, and it's very unfortunate that we're looking at the budget through the eyes of the governor at a drastic 10,000 drop. It's enough that we're gonna need. So what I'm seeing is that we just gotta be working, hand in hand collaboratively with our legislature, our delegation. I know the mayor continues to look for other outsources for, sustainability as far as grants and funding. you know, you're not the only one. So we're gonna see what we can do resourcefully, creatively. You guys have collaboratively with the cabinets and the different departments helped out. I've seen a lot of social media support and stuff. So to see how we can get you guys funded, especially look at the 274 each. I mean, wow. You know, it really goes to show that there's a lot more that we need to do to help our local municipality when you guys are the front line of our people day in, day out. So without further ado, we're just gonna go, you know, work together hand in hand and see how we can resourcefully shared cost. You know, that's the bottom line, is what we have, what they have, and how we can put our resources together. Because manpower itself, man, I see it, we're doing it. So we have a lot of support. So and we look for other special projects and funding available. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Municipality of Rota.
Jesus Malsi, Chairman Calvo. At this time, I recognize Senator Frank Cruz.
Thank you, Chairman. And Chairman, thank you, and members of the Rota Municipal Council. I just want to ask this to Planning and Budget and Finance. I know I raised that question before with the other agency or department, and I know this is not under the mayor's office. I'm just wondering why they're not giving this year operational budget. Are they gonna also be under the help of the municipality? Because I know this is a different. It's not included in the other department, that is the RDH. I mean, under the mayor's office, and I'm wondering why they're not given a operational budget for that matter.
If you look at the budget across all three senatorial districts, majority, if not almost 95% of the allocation under all others is basically just the 1% for, you know, the public auditor's fee. Besides the mayor of the municipality, they were given an allocation for the utilities. But it's something that, you know, the Fiscal Affairs Committee can take into consideration to bring that back once we are able and successful to achieve that $29 million MPLT loan. That's something maybe that can, you know, provide some adequate funding for not only, you know, not only the first senatorial district, but across all the municipalities. You know, some funding for operations. I want to say also that the Municipal Council, through, I believe, the delegation, provided some funding for operations for them.
Yeah, Mrs. Milgomis, I really understand that one. But this is something that it has to be taken seriously, because this entity is very different with the RDH, because RDH is under the municipality. Well, they're not, and they are an elected official municipal council. And I'm just saying, it cannot be the mayor to be responsible for the operation for them. I understand across the board, because all department or RDH are under the municipality, but they're not. That's why I'm saying it shouldn't be treated the same across the board. I understand I understand reducing it because funding matter, but something like this, zero on it, and I don't know if, for me, I will not agree for the delegation to be funding the Tinian Municipal Council for that matter, because it has to be the central to provide across the board, fair and square, whatever based on the operation. No, I'm not saying that the small operation we're gonna give big, but at least a fair share of some kind of funding for them to deliver what the people of Rota or even Tinian or even Saipan to deliver the services that they're elected into office to, and the people expecting them to do, deliver the services based on their engineer capacity nila. Treating them as across the board, I think it shouldn't be like that. No way, because they're different. They're not RDH of the or appointed by the mayor. I'm just saying, no. Let's see that as a not across the board, because they're not RDH of the municipality. Thank you, and you back, Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. The chair recognizes Senator Castro.
The municipality and the municipal council between the three senatorial districts are quite different. And this question actually is also for council, because to my understanding, the council on Rota and Tinian have a little bit more power than the council on Saipan, meaning you actually can enact, you're responsible to issue decisions for local governance. So there's other ways to generate revenue locally. Yes. For example, in other states, the county handles, so I see county and municipality similar, same thing. And looking at the CNMI, the state actually takes some of those powers that really is supposed to be under the municipality. So things like sanitation really should be in the municipality. And when you look at opening up businesses, if you're gonna wait for public health or to come here, and in other words, some states actually business license, there's a separate fee for the county. So I just encourage the municipal council to look into other ways to generate revenue also. Not to say that the state is not responsible for that, but just to give you guys some ideas on ways to have funding available for local matters. And I encourage you to reach out to council as well to see how that can work, because one thing I support is more autonomy to make the decisions in certain matters. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I recognize Senator Donald Manglonia. Chair.
Thank you, Chair. In line with what Senator Castro had just brought up, I think maybe this is something that we can work as a municipal leadership in identifying some activities that we can maybe add on a revolving account that would go to the municipal council to assist in certain community events. I know one of the discussions that we've had in the past is charging certain fees for like public facility usage. If the council were to provide their services, that could help with some of your operational expenses. I know Tinian has the local tax on car rental. That's something that the municipality can also look into and add that tax on. I mean, it won't really affect our people per se. It's more on the visitors coming in. So those are some of the stuff. If you guys would like to take over the municipal ID, for example, or the dog control, if you would like that back to council, I know it's been back and forth for the past 3 terms, but those are something that I'm sure Rep. Ogle would be happy to introduce, and then we can work on that as a delegation. But whatever it is that you guys feel that we can add on a fee for the services that you provide, just to help with some of your operational needs, and that's something that we can consider as a local bill to allow for that. But other than that, we've already been. I would hope that with the chairman's support, we can increase your ask, not just have it similar to what you're getting right now. And so, again, thank you for your presence here and for answering the questions that the members posed, and that we look forward to any recommendations again that you may have in regards to some of these legislations. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Donald. Before I recognize other members, I just want to ask, just the other day we had a similar exchange in questions, with regards to the local funds, revolving fund. And thankfully, we were able to get guidance from Secretary of Finance employees, the analysts. And I'm referring to the Tinian Municipal Scholarship by way of the slaughter permit that we do for the cattle. Do you guys have any permit to hunt like deer, or where does the fund go? Does it go to general fund, or does it go to in a local fund?
It goes to local general fund. Yeah, I believe that's under the Dilinar Wildlife, Fish and Wildlife.
So it's
that's where the payments are being made. So yeah,
okay.
Local fund, yeah, revolving fund.
Okay, so
Not through us.
okay, so that's something to kind of consider, no? Locally, you can discuss with the chair, see how you wish to, not to take anybody's money, but to, kind of share a little bit, because it does help a lot when you have the means to move some of your initiatives here.
Correct.
There's that open-ended question, or I'm going to tread carefully when I say this, because I believe Rota and Tinian, and to some degree Saipan, maybe not Saipan yet, but Rota and Tinian are legitimate chartered municipality per se.
Correct.
So, but of course, there are some changes in the law and court's decisions that actually kind of solidifies the powers, that identifies the powers of the delegation, which is created by the local law of 1983, I believe, or 1984. So fast forward to today, while that is happening, we still have the constitutional provisions of the existence of the municipal council. So kind of work through with your leaders here and see how we can best kind of be self-sustaining, so that you can also locally, so that you can extend the services for our people.
Thank
So
you,
it's
Mr.
just a
Chairman.
thought.
Yes, thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other member before we go to the next entity?
Good.
So that our esteemed members of the council can get back to their
Work.
Right. No, nothing further?
Once again, on behalf of the members, we just want to thank you guys, senators, for being here, making time to listen to us. And also we want to thank our secretary and OMB. We've been actually working closely with our partners now, and building our relationship, and making sure that we get the right answers. But again, everyone, thank you.
Outstanding. Sizus Masi Chair, Vice Chair, and Madam Secretary. Good afternoon. So before I proceed to the next agency, I wish to call for a short 5-minute recess, please. Thank you. You are recognized.
All right, good afternoon, Chairman Hofsnyder and the members of the Fiscal Affairs. My name is Noel M. Calvo. I'm the captain of Police Department of Public Safety. For this afternoon's hearing, I just wanted to extend the director's apology that she couldn't be present to partake the Fiscal Affairs hearing. Likewise, she had sent her testimonial for me to read out to you guys, if that'll be okay. All right, thank you. For the Chairman Hofsnyder and his team, members of the Fiscal Affairs Committee, I would like to extend my sincere apology for my absence. However, I fully confident in my team to present and respond to the questions regarding the department's challenges. As I recently took the lead in the department, it wasn't difficult to identify the biggest challenge faced was the shortage of manpower. We currently have 10 sections in the DPS, each as important as the other. Without proper staffing numbers, we will fail to provide the community with much needed resources, fail to respond to emergencies of crimes as we have taken an oath to do, and most importantly, we will fail to keep our families, friends, and community members safe. The workforce we have is stretched thin, wearing so many different hats in response to the needs of the community. With the ever-changing criminal trend and threats, now more than ever, we need your help to meet the demands for the public safety. Also, there are mandates such as Real ID that requires additional employees so that our islands can be in compliance. Our workforce is our greatest asset. We must ensure their needs are met in order to yield the best performance from them. With that, our department seeks assistance in procuring 4 vehicles that can access all terrains and is very reliable. Otherwise, we must look into shipping down vehicles to Guam, as we do not have the GSA-approved auto shops in Rota. Additionally, we ask for funding to ensure that we do not run out of fuel and funding for oils and their tire chains for all vehicles. Another important challenge to address in the fact that we do not have a good method of communication. Our workforce utilize their personal cell phones to communicate during work hours. It is not efficient nor it is effective, as we have zones on the island that do not receive cell signals. The time is taking to dial for backup during emergencies is a time lessened with the click of a radio button. As was mentioned earlier, our workforce is our greatest asset. It is essential to invest in their skills and knowledge, whether it is recurrent training or new skills and certification. We must assure that they have the tools to provide effective results when responding to situations. Police officers have the best and the worst job in the world. Their lives, their homes, each time not knowing if they will be coming home to their families. We owe it to the giving them tools and knowledge so that they may do so. Excuse me, dry throat. Outside of the workforce need, I implore you to add clarity on whose jurisdiction it is to fund travel for detainees and escorts, detainees' meals, and the maintenance of the detention facility at our station. Currently, through the support of the DPS Central, we are able to transport detainees to the Department of Corrections Saipan. It is left up to us. We simply do not have the means to continue providing fundings to do so. In conclusion, on behalf of the Department of Public Safety, Rota, I would like to thank you for your consideration and approval of our submitted request. Lastly, I want to thank you all men and women in blues to their dedication and commitment in serving our people. Sincerely regards, Christine M. Cabrera.
Thank you, Captain Calvo. As you were reading the needs, I'm making note, and what I found out is you have similar challenges with our DPS on Tinian.
Yes, sir.
Communications, Rule 5, potentially, common vehicle and the Rio ID implementation. So, I just wanted to just to be consistent. The House had passed the version of Budget Bill 2026 with the total FTE 47 for DPS on Rota, at a tune of about, inclusive of the all others, about 2.584 $187 million is the allocation for Rota Department of Public Safety. Of the 47 FTEs that is currently being proposed, can you repeat again how many do you have that are active right now?
Right now, we have about 30 officers that are active and 6 that are administrative.
Okay, so 30 plus 6 is 36 is
Yes, sir.
total. So this is inclusive of the 47.
Those are the 47 to include. Those are the FTEs that are vacant. With those FTEs, we actually try to move some of the FTEs to convert into police officer 3 positions.
Are they fully funded, or are they?
They were funded for during this last budget, yes. Except for, I'm not mistaken, with the one police officer 1 and 1 police officer 2, I'm not mistaken. That's from my last recollection when that they were put as $1 the last time.
So, kwanto pa ako, what's floating around in terms of the allocation of that? If you have it, like with you represented 36, to which,
There's
and
about
then
6.
there's 47. So you're looking at 11
About
FTs,
6,
no?
Yeah, 6 are PO1 position.
The ones that are vacant.
That are vacant.
Okay,
yes,
so
and
those guys have an attached funding for it, or this is the $?
there are attached fundings with it.
So what do you do with the lapse?
So right now, 3 of the police officer 1 right now that are currently open for hire. The 1 PO2 position and 1 PO1 position were being converted into for police officer 3 position, with the addition of the 2 other PO1 position were being used for PO3 position.
So how far is the process?
If I'm not mistaken, according to the director, it's being processed right now. One of the
PO3, OPM or
OPM right now open up the PO3 and the 1 PO3 and the 3 PO1s. The other PO3 is still currently in process. I'm not sure where it's at right now.
Okay, the reason why I asked this question, Cap, is we're on the literally 4 weeks before the end of the fiscal year. So if I encourage that you monitor the.
Yes, I believe it should be coming. I'm not by next week or the following after. I think there should be the other PO3 should be opening.
So that there's that representation. The mga nata titarekonisa ta defund, what they call it. We don't want to do that. So just I encourage you to monitor it closely and work with your delegation, with the chair and the mayor, of course, to make sure that that's plugged in, before the final product. I don't have any further. I'll yield for now, but recognize Chairman Donald Manglona.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, Captain Cavo.
Afternoon, sir.
I just wanted to inquire on the openings that you have currently. So it's proposing to open up at least 6 PO1.
Yes.
PO1 positions, but only 3 was announced.
Because that's what I was mentioning earlier. They had to break the 1 PO2 and 1 PO1 to make a PO3 position, because in the department we have PO1s, PO2, sergeants, lieutenant and captain. We don't have PO3 position. Yes. So what we did was we take the PO2 and PO1 and break it down to open up a PO3 position, with the additional of the other 2 PO1s positions were being used to open up another PO. So it should be 2 PO3 positions should be open. One is open. It's open right now. The other one should be opening up in about a week or 2.
Okay. And do you know if the department has maybe worked with WIOA to
I can answer that.
pay for some of these employees? At least the PO1s?
I think the director should be the best person to actually answer those questions. I was only forwarded some of the information, not all. Sorry.
Do you know if there is a proposed date for an academy?
Not that I know of, sir.
Okay. I see at least 2 officers that maybe they have resigned or are still finishing out their leave, one was transferred over to Saipan. Is that, do you know that one of that officer who's currently on Saipan is still being funded under the local department?
Yes, sir. He was temporarily assigned to Saipan for now, and he was being, what do you call that, director is actually recalling him back to the department. If not, then he might be seeking employment in DPS Saipan.
Okay, all right. Sorry, excuse me, Cap. For finance or maybe OMB, can you find out how many different revolving accounts are under corrections? And if there are these accounts, what's the balance in them? And the reason I ask that, Cap, is to maybe we can, address your concern about the transporting of detainees. In the current fiscal year, how many times have you transported detainees up to Saipan?
On top of my head, sir, I think this year alone we had maybe about 3 or 4.
And was it your department that funded all of those?
Most of those were actually funded with the assistance of the mayor.
So nothing from any agencies on Saipan?
No, sir.
Okay. And what support have you gotten from DPS Central?
The last one that I remember was the vehicle and I think lodging, if I'm not mistaken.
But in terms of training?
For training, sir?
Who supports, or is it funded out of the local account, or does DPS Central provide support in training?
So there's a recent training that's happening in Saipan coming next week, which is a support coming in from Saipan. Everything that is funded through the grants are actually coming in from Saipan that are being sent out for training, but anything that comes from local, from our account, we don't have the fundings to send people for training actually.
Okay, but are they sending people down to train locally?
Not yet in the process right now.
Okay, and heading into the issue about the real ID, what's the issue? What's the update there?
Just the information I got from our directors that they were supposed to implement the real ID actually this last month or a month ago, on May. But what happened was the card that they have, they try to scan the barcode through the TA, the
Right.
TSA,
Right.
and it did not read out. So what they did is the BNB right now are sending back to to the vendor to see how they can fix that the card situation.
Okay, but in terms of our facility, is it ready for implementation?
Well, the new BMV that is being reallocated under to the Songsong Village actually is ready. We're just waiting for that system to get from Saipan down to Rota so they can actually, and the addition of the IT need to actually hook up all the internet wirings and the telephone wirings for us to start the new program.
Is that going to be funded out of the local, your department's account, or?
It's already paid under our local account.
It's already paid, so it's just a matter of
It's
the
a matter
connection.
of the IT coming down
Okay.
on us.
Sorry, before I acknowledge the next member, can I just go back to finance if you have that information yet, or if not? Okay, that's okay. No. Corrections, we don't have corrections here, so the central corrections department. Ms. Julie, you had something? Two accounts? Okay. Yeah, so while you work on the balance on that, Ms. Hernandez, at this time, I would like to recognize Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. Captain,
Good afternoon, sir.
I understand that you mentioned earlier that you're not given any for operational, right? You don't have any operational funding given on
Yes, sir.
your budget. There's no And you mentioned earlier about even with communication, you guys using personal cell phone.
Yes, sir.
Now, in regards to recertification, and I understand that it is very important to recertification for firearm
Yes, sir.
because of liability, right?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys complete the recertification, or how long you guys been?
Our last recertification, sir, for you talking about our firearms, right?
Yes.
Okay, our last recertification was last year on August, so we do it annually. So we're up for after this September, we're actually up to do another recert.
So do you have the funding for the recertification?
We actually do the
Meaning, I know you have to
ammunition.
buy all those
Okay, so
rounds, right?
we do have some supplies of ammunition. We're very lucky that our Saipan counterparts are actually assisting us with ammunition and silhouettes for when it comes to recertification. So this next coming in, they're actually coming up to assist us again if we need more ammunition in terms for recertification. So they're actually assisting us with.
So that's not a problem.
It's not a
Because
problem,
I
sir.
raise this because I know that, we don't wanna, we don't wanna be bombarded with a lot of lawsuit, no?
It would be nice, sir, if they give us money
Because
for
I
that.
know
but-
that DPS, if you guys are not recertified, you cannot be carrying firearms
Yes, that's
because
very
of
true.
liability.
Very true.
That will pose the department, especially the government. No?
Mhm.
What about, I noticed that you guys are not carrying any bullet vests. Are you?
No, sir.
I know that one is very, very
Yes.
important that everyone and I think management should be very mindful of the safety of you guys because you are public safety.
Yes, sir.
You have to be safe as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any funding for those?
No, sir. That was my last, during the House budget hearing, I actually informed them that, us officers, we have some tools to actually protect ourselves in the community. But those tools are not there to protect flying bullets towards us.
Alright,
So
okay.
that's why we're telling them, we need fundings for those things to actually help protect our officers as well, because, we have a badge, but a badge is not big enough to actually shield the bullets coming in.
Okay.
So that's why we're asking for fundings to assist us with those things, because so that our officers can actually go home to their family whenever they report to work to help the community. But there's no point for us to go to work and then we don't make it home.
Okay. What about other necessary equipments like pepper mace and other stuff that will?
Yes,
Are you guys? I know the pepper mace. There's an expiration for that. Are you guys on top of?
Yes, sir. 3 years ago, we had purchased pepper mace for the officers.
So you
to
still have
redo.
supply
Yes, sir.
for that one?
But that with the blessing of the what do you call this? The funding from the federal funding that came in, which is what was that?
What about your sidearm? Are they all still okay or subject for the commission?
Oh, they're still okay, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Just to make sure no, that you're carrying a working firearm.
Yes, sir. They're still okay.
Thank you. Just to make sure that
It would be nice if we can
because we
upgrade it,
want the community to be safe as well as the officers that are enforcing the law and protecting. I know we get very. I'm a retired police officer. That's why I continue to mention this because I know that how hard to become a officer because you guys rain or shine patrolling 24 hours. No, when even though you're off and you're cold, you have to respond.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to make sure that that for the community to be safe, you guys also have to have a proper equipment. When you guys instead of working to protect people and you're not protecting yourself as well.
Exactly, sir. Thank you.
So again, I appreciate that. I hope that when you guys submit the budget, you include all those equipment that is needed for for the safety of the community and also to prevent any future liability that will be posed on the department as well as you guys that enforcing. And in regards to other training, that I know that there's a refresher course to make sure that that you don't get sued when you apply what is you can only apply when you are certified, right?
Yes, sir.
Like with the license or all those kind. We want to make sure that no. That's why I mentioned earlier that essential department that has to be given, because I know, I'm sorry, I know no planning, budget and finance, but this department, the critical department, I know that we're critical in funding, but we also have to be mindful of providing necessary funding for a department that will lessen the liability on the government. Because I know that if the government is sued because they apply something out there that they're not certified or they're not recertified, that requires recertification, is going to go back to the legislature to find funding for lawsuit. No? We want to try to prevent that from happening. That's why I'm sorry if I keep repeating this kind, because I want to also protect the government from any future liability that will, we don't want that to happen. That's why I want to continue to emphasize. Then I know that we want to say that across the board, but something that is very critical and not something to happen that we're going to be sued by an individual out there because an officer is arresting someone and applying what they're taught in the academy, but yet they still have to go to recertification to do that. Like for example, for DUI, that's required recertification and breathalyzer. Otherwise, if you apply that and you DUI somebody and they found out that you're not certified, you can get sued.
Yes, sir.
So
Very
that's
true.
why I keep saying this, because same thing with defense. But again, I appreciate Cap your time, and I hope the committee will consider the most critical needs for your department so that we can be free from thinking of liability.
Thank you very much,
Mr.
Senator.
Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. This time, Senator Manny Castro.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Captain Cowell.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
You actually gave me a thought that I wanted to bring up. It's in no way referring to the police force on Rota, but I just wanted to state this for the record so that I'll remember when I get back to Saipan. But you ever heard of the phrase trying to save a penny at the cost of $1?
No, sir. I haven't.
So the example that you just gave, which is not in no way Rota's DPS, it's more of CNMI DPS, Saipan office, BMV. We could have just ordered a new order of ID cards rather than waiting to send it back to the vendor, because those ID cards cost like $2, $1, cents. But in reality, we're losing out on how much does a driver's license cost now? 50, 100? So we should have just ordered a whole batch of the right compliant, maybe contact the state of California or state of Oregon and find out who's the vendor, where they're getting their cards from, rather than working with the wrong vendor. But in reality, we don't have that here on Rota, as you mentioned yet, the real ID. It's not available on Tinian because Senator Donald tried to get one on Tinian when we were there, and it's not available on Saipan. So, and the days are counting, and we're losing revenue
Yes.
that we could have collected, and we're so risk adverse and trying to save costs in just issuing another PO to order the correct materials, that we just lost out on
True.
a lot more revenue that could have been going into the department. So this is not a message really for you. It's a message just so that we can keep this on record, so that I can ask Commissioner Macaronas or whoever's in charge we need to start thinking of this kind of process that is costing us more. So
Yes, sir.
and also a disservice to the community, because I mean, I myself paid for a real ID, but then when I went through TSA, it got rejected. So technically, the government should refund me for that money that I spent because I'm not getting the product that was advertised.
Sure.
And I'm sure our constituents share the same frustration. But colleagues, if we can just remember that when we ask when we get to DPS Central. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Senator Calvo.
Thank you, Captain Noel. Thank you for representing the Director Christine and the testimony in regards to the budget for our island. Let me piggyback on Senator Cruz, regarding the certification and requirements. It does trickle to the state level as far as, our outer municipalities and certain certification. So the big question for me was to ensure that, our state level and that bridging that gap of communication, that we include recertification. I'm pretty sure due to constraints, we do have personnel coming here versus bringing them out. But when it comes to critical programs, like you said, federally funded programs, that they do have that advertisement in a timely manner, so you guys can have, our DPS for the municipalities go out there and properly be trained, whether it's the detective division, traffic, boating, safety, and so forth. So just that communication, so we're at a more clarity in regards to consistency. And the other one was, you mentioned procuring 4 vehicles. Is that meaning that's in the process of procuring, or we are going to be issued 4?
We're actually requesting for 4 more reliable vehicle, whether it's Toyota trucks or a UTV that actually can move us from places to places that a normal car can't go. Because actually, the last time I had requested many times about a UTV, especially for the island of Rota, that a lot of the places here are more like, the complaints we get a lot also is like the farm areas, and a lot of times our actual vehicles cannot make it through, so we're just forcing ourselves into those areas. And those are the issues that we're having problems with, not having the adequate tools to actually do our job. So, and we've been talking about fuel consumptions and stuff like that, but having reliable vehicles like a UTV can also help us minimize the usage of fuel, right? Because, for every UTV, it's sometimes only up to 12 gallons per vehicle for a full tank. And I'm pretty sure it does not burn more fuel compared to our regular, SUV vehicles. And with my patrol units right now, we're running in the SUV cars, responding vehicles, and a lot of times when we go outskirts to other residents, they're not properly paved, and it's rugged, so we're burning suspension, other mechanical issues. So right now we have 4 patrol vehicles, but 2 of them are the only one currently working. The other 2 are actually been down for a while. So that's our issue. We try to get the Guam technician to come here and do diagnostic testing to actually check, because that's the only place in Guam that can actually diagnose GMC products. So we try to get him here. They said they cannot come here. They want us to send our vehicle to Guam to get it diagnosed and fixed, and then bring it back. So that's more fundings for us actually, rather than finding the GC to get vehicles that are actually that the shop can actually fix here. And I am a owner of a GMC vehicle right now. I have a GMC Terrain, which has been sleeping for 3 years because there's no one here that is trained to actually fix majority US vehicles, right? The majority of our shop here are more like Toyota brand, Nissan brand, but when it comes to Ford, GMC, Chevy, it's pretty hard. So we try to get people from outside to come here. I had a Ford truck at one point. I had to bring mechanic from Saipan to come here to diagnose and fix my car because they're the only one that's trained for those things. So if we can train the type of vehicles that we use to be utilized here, which is something that our shop can actually fix without having an issue, that would be more great for us. And that's why we're trying to resort to going in Toyota products rather than American products, because no shop here can actually fix that. You know, that's our issue that we have.
Wow, you did bring a great point, Captain, in regarding procurement and supplying, vehicles to ensure that we do have the framework in place. Because I'm looking at, how you mentioned no appropriate auto shops. I know we have auto shops, so it kind of got me. So that's the explanation. We have these vehicles. We need specialized, people in place in order to, fix that. And how do we go around it? It's going to be way costly. And I know Senator Donald mentioned something about the laws regarding ATVs and other provisions on that. Another thing that I wanted to just look into, how's the challenges with fuel and oil regarding, that's usually an annual.
Yeah,
How do you guys
big
come up
challenge.
with the
So
that challenge?
right
to
now,
operate?
the biggest issue that we're encountering is the community. That's our biggest challenge right now as a community, because a lot of times communities they come and we get the criticism that where's the police? Why don't we see the police passing by our neighbors, our neighborhood, things like that. But the problem is we don't have enough fundings to constantly rove around the island, because we're trying as much as possible to conserve the very fuel we have for true emergencies. When people call in 911, I think we try to conserve that. It's pretty, the fuel price here compared to the fuel price elsewhere. And I can say Tinian also, it's pretty expensive, So when you give us $1,000 of funding for fuel, that can only hold us up to 2 weeks if we were to actually go 100% full scale, 24/7, patrolling. But what we do is we try to conserve as much as we can for true emergency. And even that, sometimes we don't have enough, because we do have public services that requires our assistance, the schools, outreach programs, things like that. So we use those fundings to accommodate those requests. And that's not even for true emergencies and stuff, but sometimes I myself, some of the officers actually do pay their own fuel just to accommodate the necessity of the department, so that we can actually be always vigilant to the community, so that we can let them know that we're still out here to serve, whether it comes out from our pocket or it comes out from the government. But that's our biggest challenge, is we're trying to stop the officers from procuring fuel for themselves to do their job. And $1,000 fuel a month is not enough to actually make us be proactive out there constantly. So this is why we're always requesting for more fuel. And we try to help the community, letting them know that you can sleep great at night knowing that we're just around the corner, right? But now we cannot make them sleep great at night because they know we're never around the corner, because the biggest challenge we've got is having that fuel for them, the officers, to be constantly present.
Thank you in regards to that one. So it's good that cost saving measures on your end, and just to have you state that even your personal finances, you guys are looking into that. I'm pretty sure, I know through the mayorship, she also
Yes.
tries as best as they can. So it's good to declare, so we get the state level involved and bridge the gap between the two municipalities and similar challenges regarding that. The other thing that was a big one that Chairman Donald mentioned for the delegation is the detainees and the transportation. We're hoping that we can solidify that, so we have an equal balance in regards to, is it corrections that's going to help fund that transportation of those that are needed to go to the state level?
Okay, I had when I was assistant director 2 years ago, I had a conversation with Commissioner Anthony regarding the meals and the transport. He actually has asked us to provide information of how much we normally need for the whole year for those things, and we cannot really say how much we need, but we're asking if they can allot on their self to say that if we have detainees that needs to be transported to Saipan with the escorting of an officer, can they provide assistance with the transport, which is the plane ticket, also like with the meal here that we get. When we put people, we can only hold them up to 24 hours until such time there's a Rule 5 implemented where we can go beyond that until such time we get the detainee up to Saipan to the proper facility. A lot of times, we are very grateful with the mayor as well, because the mayor has been very supportive and very, when we have those situations, she finds ways to actually accommodate us by helping us with the needs with meal or, plane tickets, things like that. But a lot of times, there's a lot of delays when traveling to send people because we're trying to scramble where we can get fundings to pay for this detainee and the officers to actually leave the island. And then the more we hold them here, the more we incur meals and stuff like that.
So I do recommend that we do look forward to that fixed cost, and like we did have the other session in Tinian, that paper trail with the communication on your state level department. So even the legislature, when it comes to us, we have that evidence to say, hey, these are the proactive approach. These are the things that, our outer municipalities are doing, and we need that support, especially regarding finance. Real ID, I just got a real ID. This is the other topic on real ID. I always assume, because I travel, that it's going to be useful, but how you said the barcode is not, it's rejecting, so I'm not sure if mine's active, but they always ask me for my passport. So I was assuming that we have the real ID, the proper one in place, since they are issuing it at the state Saipan level, but according to our our delegates, that there's still a couple more
they're
IT
saying
issues. So
when they swipe it, your name won't appear in their system. That's what they were mentioning.
so deals with more of a technical
Yes.
system in place.
And I agree with Senator Castro on that, we're gonna do something this way before we do anything, do it the right way. So in that way, we save more money on double throwing those fundings for things like that. And I agree with that. Thank you very much, Senator.
And those watching, I hope we do get that real soon implementation, so that revolving fund can help our community, not just through other sources. Because like retiree Senator Cruz said, he feels you, he knows the things that we need. So we got to keep fighting, moving forward. And I thank you, Captain Noel, and all the servicemen out there, in our community, helping protect our islands. Thank you so much for your presentation.
Good exchange. Thank you, Captain Calvo and Senator Calvo. Senator Manny Castro, recognize.
Are you sure it's only Toyota, or you can take Nissans too?
Nissan, Toyota, those are the most common vehicles that are easier to be addressed by our technicians here rather than US American cars.
Just because there's, I think, about 5 Toyotas that I pulled out of the sand with my Nissan. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you can tell because Guam is Toyota country, Rota becoming Nissan country, so Nissan is great too.
But just maybe I'll speak to Council Chairman Donovan later. Another thing also is possibly incentivizing the scholarship to have those kind of technical programs. I mean, NMC Rota, the 2 bay doors at the back are designed for that kind of like shop curriculum, but maybe bring in an instructor on the scholarship, municipal scholarship, and also prioritize that kind of program, like Ford or whatever DPS, because some of those, they're already grant funded vehicles, but I'm sure local funds general funds, we can get those Nissans and Toyotas. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Cap, just quickly, on your fleets of vehicles, is there any, in your recollection, and if you're not, then that's okay, but maybe that's something to consider because you buy bulk purchase, right?
Yes, sir.
Is there any discussions with the dealer to periodically visit Rota, masya kada 3 months or 6 months to service, and then put that account that into the cost so that you don't have to deal with, unless it's a out of the ordinary situation. Is that something that?
No, I cannot answer to that question because the last time we get funding for GSA to purchase our terrains was back in 2017.
Mhm.
So I have no knowledge of there's any conversation regarding that specific questions that you have. But yes, we have former commissioner, if I'm mistaken. No, I'm sorry, not former. Commissioner, I was just Macronas was mentioning that the last time we spoke that they need to try and revert the GSA. They can try and see rather than purchasing U.S. made cars, and they see if we can be that the GSA can justify for us to purchase Toyota brand cars, like foreign cars, which is Toyota and Nissan, for the place that we are right now because of we don't have the proper technicians and mechanics to actually fix those cars. So that's why even in Saipan, I think sometimes some of them are using Nissan Frontiers, using Toyota Tacomas and stuff like that. I know they have some Suburbans, but they're trying to face off those kinds of vehicles that are U.S. product because of we don't have the adequate technician to actually fix vehicles like that. We're spending more money with those things.
Correct. So to just to address to make it like come in full circle. So you buy it. Let's say for example you do a bid.
Yes.
And AK or Joten Motors respond. Make sure that the request includes at least for the next.
That would be perfect. Sir.
Because you don't have to run around here trying to find the shop. Not that we're not going to support our local shops. We definitely do. But when it comes to very technical piece of unit, per vehicle, you need the people that are actually trained. They go every 6 months somewhere to get trained to diagnose. Pareho din sa Taban, when the cars you can just listen and already, but this one you gotta, you have that computer box to,
Yes, very true.
And I've heard in the past where we procured, and not here, but the Tinian for that matter, we procured a unit, a capital item, a tractor, but something happened. Nobody seems to know how to figure out how to fix it because in the contract it says only the manufacturer can actually come. So, in a nutshell, kind of the same concept, but because we deal with dealers in CNMI, I think we can work with procurement and your management to see how we can loop that in so that we don't have to continue incurring additional expense for the
That's a very
O&M.
good point, sir. Great.
I don't have any further question unless other members do have.
Yes.
Senator Calvo. Mangloni.
Thank you, Chairman. Just going back to finance, were you able to pull up the balance?
Katrinelin, can you please come up to the mic so we can hear?
Yeah, you can use the.
Just go ahead and
Secretary
sit
of
there because
Finance.
Secretary is not going to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Combining two of the orgs from Department of Corrections and Board of Parole, the running balance as of today is $11,961.81. So about 12,000.
Okay. Cap, when the officer escorts a detainee to Saipan, is it DPS Saipan that picks up the detainee or corrections? Who does the transport from the airport?
Practice before, sir, is that when we come in, we get the DOC to come up and bring us, the officer, down to DOC and process there. But now the two reasons that we had was the DOC comes to the airport and just hand off the detainee there and process it there, and then that's how they do the process now. Rather than bringing the officer, the escort down to the DOC, they're just out process right there at the airport when it comes in.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Katrina Lynn. Jolyn and Devin, if you can draft a provision that would require corrections to cover the expenses of the transporting of detainees from Rota and Tinian for the committee's consideration. I think that's something that the committee can consider in order to address some of that issue in transporting the detainees, like what was brought up by Captain Calvo. Additionally, just one more thing that I would like to ask for is if there have been any discussions in addressing the drug problem. I know it's easy for people to say it seems like there's an increase in drug activity, but it doesn't seem like there has been a lot of arrests made, or maybe we are lacking the resources needed to ensure that proper search is being done and being able to address some of the suspicious activity that is seen in the community. I know we used to have a dog, a canine, but I don't think that's still in service. But has there been any plan or any discussion or initiative that is being worked on to address those concerns that have been brought up by the members of the community?
Okay, so about a year ago, if I'm not mistaken, we had worked with, we were in collaboration with Customs here to do a local task force within DPS and Customs for the narcotics site to actually try and tackle this project. But we were waiting for MOU to be in place in order for us to continue on. But we did work together with our special investigation section and with the narcotics section on the custom to actively go out and try and find evidence with this narcotic stuff. The thing is, the first thing, from my personal perspective, I think if we can change a little bit of the law when it comes to entry, right? Because when we bring in commodities from Saipan or from Tinian or anywhere within the neighboring island, because of the inner island law that, Customs can't do so much of inspection on that because of an inner island. Right now, we want to stop those things. We're going to have to try and open up the inner island inspection for the purpose of narcotics, right? We had, Custom had a canine back then, and it was pretty running well, but, the officer had to, resign and, seek a greener pasture because it's hard having canine, to be a canine handler here, because sometimes it takes your own personal time to actually make sure maintain that officer to be watched, certain time. But we are trying our best to tackle that project, and that's one of the things that we're trying to do. I know the Customs are here, and they're trying to create a way to work with DPS again to bring back that operation, so that in that way we can work effectively to tackle this situation. But it's really hard when it comes to drugs because there's a lot of red tapes on how you go out and do your investigation and stuff like that. So those are the issues that we're encountering.
And thank you for bringing that up, especially the recommendation about the inner island, the ability to search incoming and outgoing cargo when it pertains to inner island freight. I don't have anything else. I think that the committee will just have to draft or propose a provision to allow you to use some of your personnel funds to address some of your operational needs, with the understanding that the OIA grant could be used to cover some of your DPS's operational needs as well, whether it be personnel or operations. But I think that's one avenue that we can tap into to address some of the maintenance concerns, fuel for operations, and maybe even purchase new vehicles. And so that was what I brought up with the mayor earlier in regards to the authorization of the OIA grant to be used for law enforcement. And this will be applied also to DFEMS and DPS. I don't know about customs, but that's something that we can get clarification on. I know OMB just left, but we can get that information out. But other than that, thank you for being able to answer the questions posed by the committee despite you filling in for the RD, and please extend our appreciation to the RD as well for also continuing to communicate with the delegation in terms of what is needed with the department and her requests for assistance coming from the delegation. And so we thank you, or I thank you for your time here, Captain Cowell.
Thank you, Floor Leader Manglonia. And with that, Cap, thank you again, as what was mentioned earlier, for being here and to guide us with your proposal.
Thank you very
Have a good day, sir.
You too.
It's pushing 15 or 1600, 4 o'clock. I do wish to call one more entity, and I know that I saw I called DOF earlier, but I had to push with DPS. So if DOF is available, can we just and I'm sorry, folks, we're gonna wrap up for the day, and then we're gonna convene again tomorrow. We tried to get as many agencies in today, and we're gonna convene again tomorrow at around 9, between 9 and 9:30, and I'll be making that formal announcement. Who's the next? Okay. Sisus Masi for being patient. Proceed on, Madam Director.
Good afternoon. For the record, my name is Avery Calvo. I'm the Resident Director for the Department of Finance. I want to apologize to the chair and this body for not being here in the gallery when I was first called upon. I took a little bit longer than expected. I understand that I was bumped up because of the benefit of the Secretary of Finance and the OMB Special Assistant being here, so I apologize to them as well. I joked earlier that I was put last because my opening statements always takes anywhere between 1 to 2 hours. I promise I won't do that to you guys. But at the same time, it is very important for me to advocate for my department, even if it takes 6 hours. Well, first off, did this committee receive my email with my entire budget proposal? I believe I wrote personal letters to some of the members of this committee. I hope you guys took the time to read them.
And I apologize. I'll be the first one to say that I haven't. Please accept my apologies. But I will definitely look it up, and we'll read through.
Okay.
But if you wish, you can
Yes.
proceed on.
I will accept your apology with your commitment to my budget proposal. Well, in all seriousness, thank you guys all for coming to the island of Rota to spend your time here. The members and your staff, as well as Ms. Hernandez, thank you very much for joining us. It was very exciting to see the Secretary of Finance and the OMB Special Assistant, as well as her staff, to join us. I hope that becomes something of a regular presence moving forward. I'm not sure if you have any kind of documentation regarding my requests, but there has been some positive changes, and I would like to thank OMB OPM, the Secretary of Finance, and our governor for approving the promotions of my department employees. It's been something that has been long overdue. So I'm very, very happy about that. Unfortunately, the members of our customs biosecurity were not able to benefit from that, those RFPs. I'm hoping that later on in the next 4 weeks or in the next fiscal year, they would be able to be promoted to the positions that we had them sign in, I believe that was late May. So for financial services, I know I had requested for like 9 positions, and the legislative financial analyst, Mr. Demapon, had called me to inquire what were the 4 positions that were removed from my request. I'm pretty sure that they're not the current positions that are filled. I'm going to assume that those are the positions that I had requested as new FTEs. My request for the promotion of the accountant 2 and my administrative officer was entertained, but my request for treasury staff, that one is still pending. We have a treasury branch here on Rota, but it has no staff. So I've requested for an account clerk 1 and account clerk 2, as well as a manager position. I'm utilizing my financial services manager to oversee that division. I'm happy to say that the request for her wage increase was entertained, but that one was only for 22. With the extra responsibilities put on her shoulders and the fact that her position does not have anything else to promote into unless we are to entertain making her a director as well, it is important for her WGIs to always go through, as well as the promotions of our staff. I understand that wage increase is a subject that people don't want to touch right now, but when we're asking our staff to perform extra duties outside of their current job description, we need to compensate these people, especially since we have invested more training into them. They have specialized training, they have technical training increases, so it's only fair to fairly compensate them. Aside from that, the same goes with my procurement services division. We were able to get our supply specialist 1's promotion, so I thank everybody involved for that. But same goes there with our supply manager. She has no other position to be promoted into other than if we were to also make her a director. So the only other thing to compensate these people for the extra training and technical training that they gain is to ensure that their WGI is included in every budget season. Revenue and tax, we were able to promote our Tax Tech 2 into a revenue enforcement officer. So for that, I am happy that we will be able to have somebody truly dedicated and fairly compensated in that position to run that section. I requested for a division manager, and that position, although the operation seems small here on Rota, you can't run a division as technical and important and vital as revenue and tax with just the operational staff. It needs a manager there. Yes, I am there, but I am not there in their everyday operations. And what's happening with that division is they're having to rely heavily on their counterparts in Saipan, who are also overwhelmed with their own jobs and duties. So a lot of times Rota is sort of left in waiting, and our counterparts, they do their best to assist us here, but they also have their own workload. And it's not fair for us to have our taxpayers and our business community just sitting around and waiting for us to get to them when the services should be readily available. we have competent staff. We just need the extra FTEs so that these people can be able to sufficiently do their job. In customs biosecurity, I have 4 vacancies. One of the FTEs that is vacant was only appropriated at $1, and that is for the Agriculture Inspector 3. Biosecurity does not have a supervisor. That is a very technical and critical section of customs biosecurity, and it requires somebody who can supervise and give them some kind of leadership. So I hope that you guys see the value in reinstating that position. I am praying that my vacancies for customs inspectors will not be zeroed out, and I would be allowed to be able to fill those positions when this fiscal year opens. Right now, we are detrimentally short-staffed. Each port has 1 biosecurity personnel and 2 customs inspectors at the ports. We have 4 ports. And when even a single person goes on leave, I have people from the post office running to mitigate the shortage of staff at the seaport or up to the airport, depending on whether there's a vessel or an airline landing. And, you know, when we are, with the increase of the Guam flights, that means we have active inspections. It is true that customs inspection for inner island is not something that is required of us. It's usually on a voluntary basis if the visitors allow it, but biosecurity does inspect inner island. So if you have 1 biosecurity inspector having to inspect 10,000 pounds, that's going to take a very long time. So usually we have to take the person from post office or seaport to assist, or a customs inspector to assist that inspection. And that is, I hope Senator Donald asked me about the narcotics question. That way I can expand on that. But those are the reasons why we have contraband issues. That's why we have narcotics issues, because there is a deficiency in our operations. And this body can help us by allowing more FTEs to be inspectors. Operation-wise, every single division needs a vehicle. We have been very fortunate that the Customs Biosecurity in Saipan has given us one of their sedans, and there's 2 vehicles in operations, but they're already old. I'm pretty sure that they have expired their service. What is that, quality? We need vehicles for that division, most especially for the narcotics section. A lot of the times we have these people working and we're not able to pay them overtime. So just like other departments, we understand that compensation time is not something that we can give them. We've been told to flex our hours, but how do you expect us to flex our hours when we have 4 ports, when we have an 8-hour operation, and we might have vessels in the evening, we have events on the weekends. So, and as much as we appreciate those kinds of things, we've exhausted every single avenue of trying to ensure that these people do not have overtime. But I don't believe that as a resident director, that should be my priority and my job, to make sure that I do not schedule them and their operations so that they can incur overtime. My job should be to ensure that there is sufficient resources and personnel in order to execute and complete our job. So it's very disheartening when that has to be something that is on my huge to-do list when we're looking at our schedules and our operations, and we do our best. I give a lot of credit and thanks and appreciation to my staff, because just like every other department that you're going to hear, these people almost work for free. You know, if overtime is not available, comp time is not available, then what does that mean? Right? If we want them to flex their hours, but we can't make them flex their hours, then what is left for them? That's why in my budget requests, you would see $10,000 requests for overtime, $30,000 requests for overtime. I don't just put up those numbers frivolously. Those are accounted by actual operational hours that we have. Maybe I might exaggerate the number by 3,000 or 5,000 just to make it a clean round number. But other than that, the Department of Finance, we are so tight with our money, so tight to the point that in our budget request, you do not see any operational requests for office consumables. We do not ask for things like personal consumables. We really ask for the bare minimum of what these people need to do their jobs. Senator Cruz asked DPS about bulletproof vests. My customs inspectors are armed, but they do not have a bulletproof vest. We have been requesting since I came in for fiscal year 21 to have bulletproof vests, and we have not been successful in that.
Director,
yes.
May I just, I'm sorry because you're mentioning something about OT, and you're familiar with the CIQ funds, right?
Yes, I am.
How much of that is, in your opinion, just if you have inbound flight, especially from Guam, you require clearance from biosecurity or customs?
Yes.
So how do you factor that in the? Are they on a regular scheduled flight, or are they coming in on off time?
So, you know, to help with the business community, right? The Director of Customs Biosecurity made an agreement with Star Marianas, with our airline industries, that if they were to turn in their requests in advance, before we create our schedule, that if they were to have their flights announced, we will not charge them the CIQ.
Okay.
So yes, our customs inspectors get paid overtime under CIQ, but when we have a vessel and then there's issues with narcotics or contraband, then it turns into who's going to pay that overtime. Fortunately, the mayor has always supported us and subsidized the overtime, but I think as of late, she was told that she can no longer pay overtime out of her general fund. So we have a festival coming up this weekend, and we're not sure how we're going to compensate our inspectors should they need to work. Okay. We do know that we're going to provide the service because these are mandates, but I'm going to have to figure out how we're going to pay them if they have to work overtime. Okay. So those are the challenges we have.
You know, you have a proposal. I was just kind of talking earlier with the mayor.
Yes.
And there are some proposal for DOD to construct facilities here, notwithstanding the size of the development, but there's going to be some importation of materials perhaps. As much as we want to support our local operators, there has to be some, and I'm sure if it's for construction. So can you just maybe thinking ahead, we were successful to some degree that we were able to tack on surtax for Tinian, addressing the importation of raw materials from outside. And that would yield, some funds that can help towards the operational expense for Customs and Border and biosecurity. Now, we as a delegation, we tread carefully because we don't want it to pass to the residents. So that is the reason why we were very careful on identifying which commodities we're trying to levy a fee. And really, it's just going to turn back into to benefit mutually the importer and the
Yes.
community per se. So something that maybe you can work with the delegation and see if we can ID that, because if there's one thing that I know with the developments of the military, they avail comments and engagement with the community, the stakeholders. So ask this particular question. It's not a bad time. There's never a bad time to ask them. What's the what kind of construction materials will you be bringing in, and then you can probably kind of draw your plan as to how you're gonna tackle that. So it's just a thought that I want to suggest to you, to your office.
No problem.
Thanks.
Thank you. I'm not sure. I'm very happy that the Secretary of Finance was able to visit our office here. We had previously had office building up in Sinapalu, and we're very sad, for the lack of a better term at the moment, without getting too emotional, that we lost that building. We're fortunate that the mayor allowed us to move back to this space over here, but as you guys know, revenue and tax has confidentiality regulations and federal mandates. So having them in this area here, it's causing us some issues. It's causing us a lot of issues. There's no closed ceiling. So we always have to pack up tax documents and send them off to Saipan for permanent storage. We have treasury in the small room back there. It was a makeshift that used to be a wall. We cut a hole in. We're making do with what we got, and the staff are not complaining, but it's not a conducive work environment. We are the Department of Finance. I've repeated this many times. The investors ask me, is this a fraudulent department? When I come in and bring my money, are you gonna, when I come back next time, is this going to be gone? Because it's not normal to see a Department of Finance made out of wood. So if we're talking about we want to attract increase our economy here in Rota, we need to invest in that. I know that I've heard many times that we're going to be assured a permanent place. This department, from what I hear from the staff, has been relocated 4 to 5 times already. To me, if I was an investor or a business owner, that does not reflect stability for me. So it's hard. With everything that the mayor is trying to do, the Department of Finance needs to reflect that we are stable and we are here and ready to provide the services for people who are coming here to invest their money in. There's so many more things that are on the top of my head, but I get very emotional around this time of the year, and I promise myself I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Our K-9 program, we hope to reinstate that, but without the proper resources, it would just be a repeat of what happened to DPS and what happened to us. And we need your guys' help to properly fund a K-9 inspector and have more than one person.
Director, just quickly on as I don't know if you caught it earlier, but the House passed the budget, their version, for FY 2026, and in it you have approximately 25 combined full-time equivalent operate for your staff, right? That's correct. So is there any vacancy right now other than you mentioned earlier, is there any of the vacancies that are planning or being filled and it's in the motion right now?
No, we don't have any. We don't have any vacancies that are out for announcements.
Okay.
When those vacancies happen, I had to ask myself, what is the probability of me having my current staff that are here get their promotions?
Okay.
When it felt like 0, I had to reprogram those. So it's not to say that we don't need those vacancies. We direly need them. But I need my staff to be able to afford their job. They're buying the fuel to do their jobs, most especially our customs inspectors.
Okay. All right, and then I flagged that concern of 4 ports and your stretch with your customs and biosecurity
Thank you.
personnel. We made reference on that. So I'm gonna yield if any of the member, or I'm gonna allow our good senator from Rota. His name is Senator Ron Calvo to pose his first question to Director Calvo. If you have any.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Mrs. Calvo from Department of Finance, Rota. You elegantly explained a lot of the earmark challenges just off the bat. And you do have a pretty thick report there. Back at, I didn't bring it with me. It's via email and stuff, and it's very
67
explicit.
pages.
It's very explicit. Yes, so my take is we're gonna have to take a look at what we can do, especially when you brought up even the presence of you guys having to migrate and commute. I remember you guys up north and everything. I'm just taking footnote of especially the customs and how it correlates with enforcement and so forth. And I know personally of the members that went to greener pastures, and it leaves you guys in our municipality in that state of crisis. I would say we are currently in that crisis situation where we're just doing with what we have, and you're going to need some sort of relief. So we're hoping that Department of Finance, with the help of former House and now Senator Donald, and the funding streams with Department of Finance, how we can keep us afloat in regards to the necessary things and keep advocating for the advancements that that our Department of Finance members through seniority and stuff, after certifications and required upgrades that are due to them. I thank you so much. I've just taken footnotes, and then the key factors in seeing what we can do and continue to work to tackle each of the elements, because you have a greater grandeur as far as the different components that run the financial system. So I don't really have any questions, but we will continue to communicate, support you in whatever way, and see how we can fund the necessary operations and advancements.
Thank you very much.
Forward. Thank you, Director. Chairman.
Jesus Masi, Senator Calvo, would you pose any question, please, Chair?
I'll wait for that.
Okay. Senator Calvo, recognize. I'm so sorry, Senator Castro. I apologize. It's at the end of the day, and Senator Schneider is a morning person.
RD Calvo, I just wanted to find out, like I know, like in Saipan, we just have one treasury, and that's the CNMI treasury. But the other jurisdictions, such as Tinian, they have their own treasury, which was probably because of the casino that existed. So it's a municipal treasury.
Mm-hmm.
What type of treasury is the one that is here on Rota? Is it municipal, or is it part of?
Well, there is a municipal treasury, but we have our CNMI treasury here. So I guess the answer would be there's two.
Okay. And the other question I had was in relation to what Senator Donald mentioned earlier about substance abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And similar to the same concept or thought process with BMV and their IDs, is like the concept where, like I mentioned earlier about trying to save a penny at the cost of $1, right? So I noticed that CUC has been very successful in substance abuse prevention through their zero tolerance drug testing, meaning they quarterly or routinely have drug tests. And not just for Rota or Tinian, but I think for the CNMI, we should start looking into that, because I was looking at the total FTEs, for example, on Rota is about 286 is the governor's proposed budget, 286. Drug tests about $25. You know, there should be no government employee under the influence, and CUC, especially with their, I believe it's their line crew, they've been very successful in making sure that there's no hazards in regards to their liability also at the same time, and cost savings. But just wanted to encourage maybe looking into that as well, because it's about, for the number of personnel here, it'll probably be like 7,000 versus the liability of that could be much more. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Chairman Donald Glonia.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, and good afternoon, Artie Calvo. How much in lapses would you say you'll be left with at the end of this fiscal year?
So every year, you know, like I said, we don't abuse our funds. But we assume we're using all our money. OMB will tell us we don't have any monies available, and then we close out the fiscal year and we find out we have anywhere between 15,000 to 22,000 that we did not spend. I just got back, and not that that's an excuse, I just got back this week from an extended leave, so I don't have that number off the top of my head, but I can get that for you. But I'm going to anticipate that we might close with the lapse of about $14,000.
Okay, and the reason I asked that is because I know you mentioned promotions and all that. Have you calculated or done a projection of what giving all your employees their WGI would be for the entire year?
Yes, and in my budget proposal, there is a big section there that I highlighted in pretty yellow and red that showed what it would cost. And if I remember correctly, it would only cost an extra $30,000 to increase their WGIs. But for my managers, that's our goal. For the other employees, they need to be placed in their rightful positions for the services and the duties that they perform. We have, sitting in Treasury is, I'm very glad to say that she's now a tax tech too, but she was a revenue trainee for over 5 years. Our goal is to have her fully functioning in the Treasury section. You know, succession planning is always something that should be a priority of every resident department head. So I understand that budget is our issue, but when we're thinking about economies, our local economy is what keeps us afloat when the tourism is not in season. So when you give these people promotions, you increase their household buying power. And that is our everyday economy. I don't know how else to justify that.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And the reason I asked is because when we were on Tinian, according to OMB, and colleagues correct me if I'm wrong about this, agencies are allowed to request for WGIs provided that there are funds available. And so if what you're projecting your lapse to come out to 14,000, whatever that is, that could be used to maybe work on some WGIs. But again, this is all contingent on the governor approving that request. But just to allow the process to take place, go through the different agencies, so that we can at least start taking care of the ones that you plan to work on the WGI for, or to get everybody into the same step or whatever the
Yes.
process is.
Yes. And I thank you for that suggestion. But when we had lapses from our vacancies, we had planned to promote everybody, give everybody their WGIs. We looked at the promotion versus WGIs. Our problem was we were fighting with deadline and time. We were very fortunate that the promotions went through. Now that we see that we have about 14,000 left over, then it turns into who else can we help? We actually have 2 inspectors who did not receive their WGI in fiscal year 22. So those are people that we hope to help. And then we also have someone who just came on board, and a new inspector. So he's one of those people that we're looking at to increase, aside from the 2 who did not receive their 22. But like I said, our managers, they can only benefit from the wage increase. We had wanted to promote them into higher positions, but I'm not sure. We keep going back and forth between OMB and OPM about what is the proper increase, and I think the last understanding of it was nobody can be promoted 2 steps up. It doesn't make any sense to me. If you're qualified for the position, I don't understand why there should be such a rule that you can't get more than 2 steps from your previous position when it's a brand new position. I'm not happy with that, but like I said, we were fighting with time, and we needed to make sure that these people had some kind of positive step in the right direction.
Okay. And thank you for that. And so I guess going back to what you brought up with at least 2 employees that are, I don't even know the right term, but the 2 employees that you mentioned that did not get their WGI, is that something that you can work on currently to get them at the same level as everybody else?
We can do that. It's how fast is the processing when it leaves Rota.
Right. But hopefully when this blackout period comes, or at least it's already been initiated, and then if we fail this in the next month and a half because of the end of the fiscal year, hopefully there's lapses for next fiscal year, but then whatever you can do in the currently to start that process, and then we can try to see if we can assist in that process.
Thank you.
But aside from, well, I know that your request you have an extensive list, and as much as we try to help you on the delegation in terms of funding, right now I think that in line with what you mentioned earlier and with what Captain Noel had brought up in regards to the collaboration when it comes to inspection of cargo, I think that's another focus that we can work on. And if it can't be addressed through this budget cycle, we can try to assist in the delegation level, but also there's also this huge discussion of the 29 million MPOT loan that the administration is requesting for, and so that's another hurdle that the legislature is going to get over in terms of identifying it, or deciding whether that's the approach that we're going to take, and if so, that may be an opportunity to address some of the operational needs. However, in the meantime, operating based on what the House has passed, was it passed? Yeah, what the House has passed, it's going to be we're going to have to take from one entity just to try to help another, and so that's something that the committee will have to consider. Have you had the time to review what the House has passed for your department?
I'm going to honestly say no. When the general feel was that they just kept everything as is. I actually just decided that I'm going to try here at your guys' level to get what my staff needs to function. I understand what you're saying, that in order to fill my request, my extensive request, I understand that you guys will probably almost never fulfill every single one. But I did list which one were priorities and their imminent danger. But it is never my wish or anybody in the Department of Finance to take from one department just to fund us. But I need you guys to understand that our department, most especially Customs Biosecurity, we collaborate with other departments to help alleviate a lot of the departmental manpower shortages. You know, my customs inspectors, sometimes I don't even understand how they put up with me. I loan them to Commerce, I loan them to DLNR, I loan them to DPS, just so that we can get the job done. If overtime is our issue, here's extra people. As long as we don't violate our policies, our procedures, and our mandates, and they correlate with ours, we do the job. So essentially, these people are saving the government money by being used dual department wise. So I hope you guys don't look at their request for promotions as an expense, but as an investment and a savings cause, because they help other departments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I hope that, like what I've mentioned, you know, these lapses could be used to at least get everyone on the same level, so that there's, you know, that can address the morale issues, but also truly pay them for the services they provide, as well as their years of service. If I can request to try to resend that your budget submission again. I don't think I've seen it, and so I kindly ask if you can share it, reshare it, or bump it up.
I can print it out for each one of you.
No, email's fine. Save paper.
Yes, thank you very much for letting
But thank
us
you for
say
your
that.
time, Artie. I appreciate your testimony here today. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Thank you, Chairman Donald Magnolia. Recognize Senator Cruz. for the
Thank
first
you.
time.
Thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Director, for being here and for sharing with us their experience on regards to your requests, no? And that you're not given the necessary. I wasn't gonna ask anything, but after hearing from what you're encountering with what funding they are given, I share the same what I said earlier with DPS, because most especially your department, you're the first entry on both board, and it's very critical, very critical, and the safety, you know, of your officers. That's why I continue to repeat the liability. Without no proper equipment to your officer, it might pose liability to your department, and you're the management. You're gonna carry all the burden. No, we don't want the blame to put on you, because good thing that you're addressing it. Otherwise, if you're not addressing it, it might go against you personally, right? But that's the good part, is you addressing the needs and the safety of your officer. And after hearing you mentioned you have only 2 biosecurity.
We have 3. We used to have 4, but we only have 3. I really hope to increase the number of biosecurity inspectors. We're hoping that the future academy, it would be customs biosecurity. That way they can function in both. The only reason why we have a separation between the two sections is because these were former quarantine brought in to the department in 21.
Because I want to ask, when is the last time your custom officer get their training? Because I know that there's a special training for custom to inspect containers. because we're talking about narcotics. Not necessarily the narcotics is within the contents of that container, but even the container itself. I don't know when is the last time that they took the training to inspect containers, because like I said, sometimes it's not in the contents in the container, but it's in within the body of that container. I don't know whether I remember I forgot the name of this cover that I took that custom basing conference in Hawaii in the 1980s, and it surprised me because no drug smugglers are very smart. They're not putting in the contents of that container, but it's in the container. If they don't inspect the appearance of that container and they don't know how to inspect, that's how the drugs are coming in, because it's not in that boxes inside the container, it's in the container itself. I don't know when is the last time, and I say this because drugs keep coming in. Either I don't know whether they're making it already in Sinamay, but they continue to come in. And like I said, it's important that the officer should be properly trained to inspect containers, to alleviate drugs coming in. But if they don't get those special training, drugs keep coming in. Like you mentioned, probably that's the cause of coming in, because lack of workforce. And I understand the important. That's why good thing that the Planning and Budget and the Secretary of Finance are here, because they're the ones helping the administrators submit the governor's proposal. And I think if we look at the funding versus the safety, I think we shouldn't compromise the safety of the community. And I hope that they take that very seriously, because I understand they're saying that we prioritize the payroll, right? Yes, of course. Even me, I don't want austerity, but we should look at the priority of the department, the essential side of the department, because even if we think about the priority of the payroll and the community complain about the services is not there, they're gonna say, why should we have a department without services, right? But more especially law enforcement. And I hope, I'm just saying this because I want the full, I hope the chairman is not gonna get offended and the vice now because this is within the community level to discuss. But I think it's okay to mention that we should look at the department that is critical, to protect the general public. So again, I appreciate being here and saying all this, because otherwise, if you keep silent and you're just going within what you're given, you could be liable personally by not addressing it, no? Because you're in charge with the management, no?
Yes.
And you're in charge with making sure that your officers are properly trained, rather than just letting it go with go with the flow, and whatever we have, go with our budget means. But I think we should take very seriously department that especially I call your department or Homeland Security, actually, because you guys are the one, anything that's coming in, you guys are the first officers, the first officer that's receiving everything that's coming in, either from the airport or the seaport. And I'm not pushing for something that like way back, the Amtrak and stuff like that, but it's gonna pose danger to your officers. So that's why I keep repeating about proper equipment. And I appreciate sharing with us what your thoughts and your responsibility in regards to sharing or collaborating with other department, because you mentioned earlier that that's good, helping other department, but we have to be mindful also that the duties and responsibility of the officer, because if it's there, in the responsibilities, other duties as assigned, maybe you can do that. But if it says other related duties as assigned and you're making them do other that is not related to custom or biosecurity, I think we don't want to end up your staff going against you and filing grievance because we're not following what is stated on their duties and responsibilities.
Yes.
So again, I appreciate sharing with us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I give back.
Jesus Mossi, Senator Cruz, ma'am. I think there was a lot of a very fruitful exchange. Again, a lot of this is it's almost unfair, no, so to speak, that we try to work together, but really a lot of this is really the lack of the weak revenue stream, and we just have to keep trying and ways to convince new initiatives, new monies coming into the CNMI to try and engage with the community itself, basically. So when we're seeing news flash of flights being suspended, it's not a good thing, and that is the reason why I think I mentioned earlier. No, the Secretary of Finance and OMB, and the narrative that they always profess is like, all the agencies, if you have revolving fund, use it instead of going to the general fund, because the general fund it doesn't lapse, past September 30. But the revolving fund, oftentimes there's no fiscal year limitation. So I'm gonna flag that and that narrative, and we'll continue to kind of repeat saying it. I do want to say that as far as training and get them at par with the other officers in the CNMI is very critical. I'm kind of, in passing, me and Senator Donna Manglonia, we're trying to figure out how to best strategically try and not 100% maybe, but at least try to accommodate some of the requests by our agencies and the mayor and your entity. Then that's pretty much. And let me ask this, and I want to recognize Katrina Lin. Is there anything under Department of Finance, Mr. Palacios, that under the Department of Finance watch, Rota, what kind of revolving fund are we looking at for them that they can access? Can you point it out? Similar to what we did in. I think, yeah. Just take your time.
Chairman, if I may, while she's looking, to answer Senator Cruz's question about the last time Customs Biosecurity had training, Saipan Customs Biosecurity is very good in including Rota's Customs Biosecurity. So whatever training they have, they ensure that they include Rota. Whether it's flying their inspectors here to train us on site, or flying particular inspectors who are specializing in certain sections, fly them out to join them. So Director Mufnas has always supported Rota. So I also want to advocate for his requests. Whatever the Director of Customs Biosecurity requests of your guys' committee, please entertain him, because he's very good in supporting Tinian and Rota municipalities.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for flagging that. Can we talk about coconut rhino beetle? Is that something that are you receiving any funds with that in regards to the grants?
No.
How's that then?
I don't know how to answer how.
Maybe it's under DLNR?
It's under DLNR, yes, sir.
Okay.
So, let's
say, for example, I do know that there's an EO that transferred some entities under DLNR over to your entity. So that's why it's called Customs and Biosecurity. But really it's quarantine, right?
Yes.
And quarantine is responsibility. If you look at it, really, there's a nexus, with invasive species. So can you just, in a very quick summary as to how are we not
able to
how are we not attaching some of that to assist with your agency?
I can't sufficiently and effectively answer your question, because I know that we should be getting part of that funding, because we are the ones who inspecting.
Let me ask you this: Saipan doesn't have CRB. So does Tinian.
Yes.
I'm concerned
Yes,
that
Rota
it's gonna be transport. Whose responsibility is that?
To ensure that the rhino beetle from Rota does not come
Uh-huh.
out, that becomes biosecurity's responsibility. So
So you got my point, right?
Yes,
So basically,
have your
so
point.
I think it's a good conversation to have. The good mayor is here. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's giving us the cue that, hey guys, there's tomorrow. But yeah, can you please discuss that with the mayor and see how we can assist your entity, because there has to be a link somehow.
Yes.
And if the grant is a I don't know what the period of the grant, but I'm sure that it's renewed every year or every 2 years. I think we need to right there some in there that you need to do a visual check at the airports and the seaports that are going up north or south, so that you can contain the invasive species from spreading.
Yes.
So I believe in prevention versus crisis management. No,
Yes.
it's a lot less cheaper.
Yes.
But I think you have the capability, and you just said that you have the appropriate training from your staff. So the only thing is try to have that stream of funding source. You know, whether it's you guys are the experts of this. I'm just asking that included in the grant proposal.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Any other members to post before we retire, Ms. Calvo? Katrina, you got the numbers?
For short term, I see about $60,000 in Department of Finance Rota revolving fund. Majority of that available is from Public Law 21-10, the Medical Referral Sun Palace. That's 50,000 alone.
So 21-10, who's the oversight on that?
Point of clarification.
I'm
I
sorry.
think that
Yeah,
was.
go ahead.
It's not a revolving account. It's a local appropriation, and I believe there is legislation that Rep. Julie just introduced last session to reappropriate that, but it's not. I don't think it's for finance. Yeah. Yeah, I think council worked on that as recently as last week or 2 weeks ago. But, yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think they collect any fees to where it it's a revolving account for the department.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair.
There is 9044.
What is that?
Seaport, Customs.
Okay. And how is that being replenished? It's okay. Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Take your time.
Just look here, because maybe you're making them nervous.
No, I mean, I gotta give it to Mr. Palacios and Ms. Enriquez.
So the 9044 is replenished by customs revenue. I believe this is like the CIQ portion.
That's Rota.
Yeah, or Saipan.
That's Saipan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously there are some opportunities for our hardworking Department of Finance and Customs and Biosecurity, to access. Madam Director,
Yes.
I highly suggest that you communicate with Director Mofnas and see how, or Secretary of Finance for that matter, how we can have some of that assist your requests.
Thank you very much.
Because sometimes us in the legislature, we like to do a notwithstanding, meaning it's a revolving fund or it's an earmark, but we collapse it into a general fund. So just, for the point of, for the interest of conversation, those are all potential
Yes.
stream, that we can assist. But I really want to emphasize that revisiting that CRB grant, I don't know who's administering that, maybe OGM or someone, or YA. Include when I know when they did that, cost quarantine is still under the LNR.
Yes.
Assuming that. So they never account for that transformation over. So, that's something that you can aggressively push.
Yes.
No?
Thank you very much.
Yes,
Thank you guys very much for your time and your attention. Hope you guys have a safe flight home and enjoy Rota for the rest of your stay. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus Masi, Director Cabo. And thank you, Katrina Lean and Luterio. No, really, seriously, we sometimes we joke, we crack a joke, but we really appreciate your guidance, okay? I'm sure our folks here in Rota as well appreciate that. So with that, we're going to go on a recess. And just for consistency, we do have the remaining Department of Commerce, Department of Fire and Emergency Medical Services, Department of Public Works, DLNR, Department of Community and Cultural Affairs, and Department of Labor. And I think the gentleman was patient enough, and he requests that if he can go first, and that is Department of Commerce. See Mr. Taiskan, no? Yeah. So we're gonna reconvene at 9:30 tomorrow, and we'll be here, and then we're gonna go forth, proceed on with that. So with that, this budget hearing here in Luta is now on recess until 9:30 tomorrow morning. Jesus Masi, and have a good evening.